into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Deep breath in. It is 6 o'clock, which means it's time for your feel-good breakfast show. Are you yawning next to me, Graham Richards?
Taking a deep breath. I was just sucking it all in and exhaling all that stress. It is a beautiful morning. You look gorgeous this
Thank
morning.
you so much. I feel refreshed. I just came from my Cedarburg trip, which means I just recovered. But I'm ready to come back to all of you and just share all of the magic that happened.
Profile. Some amazing. I mean, the location. Spectacular. So hopefully you're feeling like that this morning, that you can just breathe, and we're going to help you do it. It's a health and wellness Tuesday, so your health is front of mind for us today, and we're going to kick off the show by helping, of course, Jamie pick her outfit for the morning, as we do. I think you look fantastic already, but you guys can weigh in, and then of course Ryle and myself, the bromance begins today. We're going to show you exactly what it means to have self-care, to care enough about yourself to invest in that. And we're going to have an awesome time in the process. Can't wait for that, actually.
It's the glow up that we all need from the two of them. And then for those who like to start their morning off with a workout, there's people that like to do that. We've got a fitness session designed specifically for the elderly. So push your couches back and put the table aside. Let's sweat together. Let's bring all the health and wellness that we need for this Tuesday. But remember, we're going to keep you entertained, informed for the next 3 hours. And we're here at your service to do just exactly that.
I can just hear munching going on the other side of the studio. I'm getting a little bit of FOMO right now. Good morning, gentlemen. Clearly you're okay this morning.
Good morning, you beautiful selves. From myself, Ryle, good morning. And this man over here with a full mouth. Can't waste the building.
Thank you so much. I have a feeling, you know what happens, right? You know what they do? They're going to make me do the workout as Ryle. I'm just guessing. Is that going to happen? You see, I knew it was going to happen, man. But it's so good to see you again this morning. It really is. And I've been watching you guys do Expresso karaoke.
Ooh, and what do you have to say about that?
And I just think that the songs that you've been choosing have been quite out there with regard to range.
Yes.
And that's why I just thought we'd do a post this morning with your suggestions as to which song you think the presenter should tackle in the next hashtag Expresso karaoke. Do you have any songs that you want to do? Because I've seen you got a voice in you, so you can do it.
The range is like just yeah, Carl, and every karaoke song is yeah,
yes,
or yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just, let's keep with the trend and just go crazy again, I guess. I mean,
go crazy.
Why not? We've set the bar.
Okay, well, it's over to you now. Pick something with lots of range, all right? A lot like this guy. This guy's got range. I mean, you're going to see him now. He can do sport, he can do news, he can do alles. It's great.
Thank you, gentlemen. I apologize in advance for our karaoke later today, but let's kick it off right now with our national news first. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the COVID-19 pandemic has showcased Africa's capabilities in science and in health response. Speaking during the Africa Center for Disease Control's two-day conference on vaccine manufacturing, Ramaphosa said the talent and will was there, but resources were a challenge. He said Africa's task now has to be to harness the continent's capabilities and draw on the experience of the past year to build a vibrant and innovative African medical supplies manufacturing capability that meets the health needs of the continent's people. At the same conference, the head of the Disease Control Center, John Nkengasong, said he would like to see up to 60% of the vaccine needed produced on the continent. Currently, 99% of the vaccines used in Africa are imported from elsewhere. The need to be self-sufficient has been fueled by the coronavirus pandemic and the slow pace of vaccine acquisition. And Nkengasong said the target date for improving the continent's manufacturing capacity is 2040. Now, casting a wider gaze on the international front, Uganda and Tanzania have signed 3 key agreements aimed at developing Uganda's oil and gas industry. This during Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan's visit. The agreements on shareholding for the pipeline, as well as the transportation and tax deals, are a step towards the start of the construction of a crude oil pipeline. The two countries will build an almost 1,500 kilometer long oil pipeline to pump Uganda's oil to Tanzania's Indian Ocean port of Tanga. It'll be the longest heated oil pipeline in the world and should be completed by 2025. Then Saudi Arabia, home to Islam's holiest shrines, yesterday announced that the holy fasting month of Ramadan would start today. This as Muslims worldwide face coronavirus curves. Other Muslim countries, including Sunni majority Egypt and Lebanon, have also announced that today marks the start of Ramadan. Shiite majority countries such as Iran are expected to start tomorrow. Ramadan in South Africa also starts today, and because of the COVID-19 pandemic, many Muslim majority countries have imposed restrictions on worshippers, including nighttime curfews and calls for prayers to be performed at home. And now, finally, news of the impact of a media queen's farewell news bulletin. A TV viewership report for March of this year by the Broadcast Research Council has revealed that broadcast veteran Notolo Grootboom's last news bulletin drew in a whopping 3.8 million viewers. Notolo, who worked for the SABC for close on 4 decades, read her last news bulletin before going into retirement on Tuesday, the 30th of March. Last month's report of the television audience measurement service stated that 3,832,686 people, to be exact, tuned in to hear Notolo say, "I love you all at home one last time." The impressive number constituted a third of all TV views during that time slot on the day, in fact. And while she hoped for a quiet exit, she received the exact opposite of her wishes. Notolo became a household name over the years as a news presenter and made an art of presenting the news in her home language, isiXhosa. President Cyril Ramaphosa even moved his national address, aka the family meeting, which was originally scheduled for 7 p.m. on the night, to 7:30 p.m. to make sure that she could fit in her final bulletin and allow SABC viewers to watch the veteran presenter. And we were able to wish her well on that day, and we do it again now. Hopefully she is feeling the outpouring of love. Well, that's where we leave our news. Let's get into our sports headlines. We start with cricket, and the Proteas are back on it. They bounced back from their back-to-back ODI and T20 international losses against Pakistan to beat the hosts by 6 wickets in the second T20 match at the new Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg yesterday. Pakistan, who won the toss and elected to bat first, posted only 140 in their allotted 20 overs. George Linder, one of the destroyers-in-chief, and South Africa then reached that target in 14 overs, with Aiden Markram hitting 54 from 30 deliveries. The third T20 match will take place tomorrow, that one kicking off at 2:30 in the afternoon again. Then staying with cricket, a century by Rajasthan Royals captain Sanju Samson wasn't enough to lead his team to a win over the Punjab Kings 11 in the brand new Indian Premier League season. The Kings, they registered a breathtaking last ball 4-run victory at the Wakere Stadium in Mumbai. They posted 221 for 6 thanks to a 91 from KL Rahul, 64 runs from Deepak Hooda and Chris Gale's 40 runs. Royal skipper Samson smashed then 119 runs from just 63 deliveries on his team. Just fell short of that win. And there'll be one IPL fixture today, and that's the Kolkata Knight Riders taking on defending champions, the Mumbai Indians, at 4 p.m. And then plenty of rugby on offer at the moment locally. CPUT got their Varsity Shield campaign off to a winning start yesterday, claiming a 36-20 victory over UFH and the 2019 champions. They secured the win at Loftus Versfeld despite receiving 1 red and 2 yellow cards. In other opening round results, UKZN, they scored 10 tries to beat newcomers Rhodes University 62-15, and WSU ran in an impressive 22 tries to beat the DUT Rhinos 136-11 in a obviously very one-sided match. The Varsity Shield competition will continue on Thursday with 3 matches, and that's all taking place in their biodome at the Tuks Stadium. That's where we leave our sport for now. Carl is standing by with the latest on the weather front and some of your beautiful sunrise pictures.
Thanks a lot, G, and thank you to each and every one of you, our viewers, that take the time to share their sunrise views with us. This morning, we are starting off with a regular. We love you, Louise G. Cheery, who shared this stunning image of the sun rising over the ocean in Amanzimtoti. A partly cloudy day is forecast with a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. Patricia Dunlop, good morning to you from Morningside. Shared this blue sky scattered with white clouds and notes of pink. You can expect a warm day, also reaching a sunny 28 degrees Celsius. If you would like to see your photo featured during one of our sunrise segments, all you have to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo with us. And also do let us know exactly where you're from. Now, not to forget our international viewers tuned in via YouTube and the Africa channel. We are giving a brief weather update on the city of Abuja in Nigeria. Now, Abuja is Nigeria's administrative and political capital. It also a key capital of the African continent due to Nigeria's geopolitical influence in regional affairs. A sunny to partly cloudy day is forecast for your area with a hot maximum of around 35 degrees Celsius. Now, staying with weather news, we just heard in the news report about the rhino numbers in Nepal who are on the up, but another inhabitant as endangered as the one-horned rhino with only 2,500 left in the wild is currently threatened by numerous bushfires ranging in the mountains and this stamping ground of the red pandas. Now, although red pandas share some characteristics with black and white giants, they are not related at all. Adult red pandas typically weigh only 5 kilograms, making them nimble for life high above the ground in trees. And scientists say the forest fires in Nepal have been the worst for the past 15 years. Now, last month, some 500 forest fires were recorded. Parts of Nepal has seen a prolonged dry spell in the past years with no rain or snow, leaving forests tinder dry. And the Red Panda Network, solely dedicated to conserving the species, is now working closely with the Nepalese communities to protect the red panda and its habitat. On to some of your temperatures from across the country, and I can tell you it's a hot day expected all round. Polokwane 13 to 29 today. Bombela 16 to 32 are your temperatures. Pretoria 16 to 29. Johannesburg, you can expect 14 to 28. Mahikeng, let's take a look at your temperatures over there. 12 to 30. Klerksdorp, you can expect 13 to 31 degrees Celsius. Kimberley 14 is your low this morning. 32 your high. Bloemfontein 9 to 30. Richards Bay 31 the max from a low of 21 degrees. Pietermaritzburg 15 to 31. Durban, you can expect 21 to a high of 28 degrees. Mthatha 14 to 32. East London, you can expect 20 as a low to a high of 27 degrees. Cradock, a very high 35 degrees Celsius as your maximum. Do hydrate and get the sunscreen on as well. 12 is the minimum. Gqeberha, 18 to 25 degrees. George, you can expect the same maximum of 25 degrees from a low of 14. Cape Town, 17 to 26. Worcester, 15 to a massive 36 degrees Celsius. Sutherland, 12 to 29. And Upton, wrapping up with you, 18 to 36 degrees as your maximum. That's a wrap of your temperatures for now. Do continue sending of those sunrise pictures to me. All you have to do is go to the Expresso Facebook page and post them up there, and also let me know exactly where you're viewing from as we get into the beauty room, and there is a certain look we need to complete. Here's Jamie.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cole Wasey, for that weather update. Well, South Africa, love it or not, the chill in the early morning air is making an entrance. You can feel it, which is why it's time to invest in clothing pieces that can be used for layering. And of course, our fashion and beauty editor, Knox Murphy, is here to share tips on how to channel the season's call for comfort using simple layering items.
Yes.
Good morning, Mama.
Good morning. How are you?
Good at you.
Good. Looking classic in black.
Thank you. I'm loving the chic polar neck vibe, very basic for winter.
Yes.
But of course, it is getting colder, like
Yes.
I've mentioned. It's time for that layering season. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming because you don't want to look like you're uncomfortable.
Yes,
but you want something that's layered for comfort, and that's exactly why you're here.
Absolutely. So I think, Jamie, the big thing with layering is that a lot of people then start to think that they're going to look frumpy, like you're saying. You don't want to actually lose the form or the style of anything that you're wearing. So you want to use things that are quite thin in their base and then play with the different textures, right? So that's really the
Textures.
power. Yeah, so it's about textures really coming together and looking at what, if I put something really chunky on top of something thin, what does that look like versus a chunky piece and another chunky piece, and then it just all looks like a mess. So for something as classic as this, I would go with something like a luxe wool coat like this. I love this because it's super classic. It's like a very chic finish to it. So already you've got that high neckline coming in with your turtleneck. So to kind of enhance that, the grey is really great for that, but we can open it up so much so that, the slit and the flirtatiousness of your dress can still play in, but really, you're warm and you're comfortable. So I'm really enjoying this. As you can feel, it's really soft to the touch, but really classic. So grey is a great kind of staple color to have because you can wear it with a bright color or a more muted statement color. So that's looking great. And then of course we've got what I call the coatigan, right?
Coatigan.
The coatigan. So this is kind of a play between a coat and a cardigan, very lightweight, also in the same way, made with really like recycled materials. There's always a focus on texture and the feel, but this is a more longer kind of piece with the pocket detail in the front, but something that's really flowy and comfortable. So there we've got two kind of similar knitting threads coming together, but because you've got that polo neck at the top and it's a little bit more ribbed, this is a nice contrast to that.
And did I mention that it also looks chic too? Because again, we want to still look good, still feel comfortable,
100%.
Still have layers,
Yes.
but still look good.
Exactly, and I think the most important thing is also to be able to function through your day. So you don't want to have too many layers that are going to bog you down and you can't run after the kids or go to your meeting. These are items that are super lightweight. If you were to go outside, you're warm, you're comfortable. There's also a flow and an ease to it, which is really nice, giving you a great sense of movement, which is great.
What a vibe, everybody. I love them both so much that I'm completely torn between these two. Well, of course, you at home can help me decide. Head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and vote for your favorite layering piece. Should I wear the coat?
All right.
Should I wear the coatigan, as you call it today?
There's the coatigan, yes.
And this is all going to be worn for today's duration of the show. Well, we're going to reveal the winning item very soon, but it's all for you to decide. So head on over to our Expresso Facebook page right now and help me choose.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. I love you, man.
I love you, man.
No, man, I really...
But I really do, man.
Nah, man, I freaking love you, man. So while Jamie decides what she needs to wear for this morning's show and you guys help her out, time for the boys to focus on a little bit of our own self-care. And this one goes out to all the brothers from other mothers.
Yeah.
And there is nothing quite like a bromance. And if you're willing to put in the work, these friendships can become sacred,
They
man.
really, truly can, and they're very rare. Now, G and I had the chance to break away from our busy schedules recently to take a day for ourselves, to focus on self-care and quality time together, which is all the things that we needed, and you guys get to get a first-hand look at the results. Let's check it out.
with our ever-growing list of errands that we've got to run, our responsibilities, our hectic work schedules, that bro time actually becomes a part of self-care. And we know that self-care at least should be a priority.
Oh, it definitely is to me, G, and that's why we're out here. Obviously doing something special and taking a moment for us, filling our cup up and doing some activities that we just don't ever have the time to do often.
And doing it together.
Oh,
Doing it together,
what do you
man.
say,
So
brother?
let's kick it off with an adventure. Let's do it. Paul, we are obviously very excited for our impending adventure. What are we likely to see out there?
So at the moment there's a whole lot of bait fish in the bay. It really is, there's a lot of life. The bait fish attract dolphins, there's seals, there's a whole lot of seabirds. You may see some sunfish.
I don't want to have my hopes too high, but maybe, just maybe, you know, we'll see a dolphin or a whale. Let's temper our expectations, but can't wait, man. Should we go? Dude, not out for like 30 seconds and already we've seen our first pod of dolphins.
It's so insane. I feel like a little kid, like just like, oh, I can't even believe it. You see how high they're jumping up.
Oh, bro, you know, it's almost like they're watching us as much as we're watching them.
That was awesome, man. So majestic.
You've got to take a moment to look after yourself, because ultimately it is a responsibility, and if you're going to look after other people and keep doing what you got to do, you've got to be able to do that, dude.
I love watching.
So yeah, I think taking a moment just for yourself, whether it's to look after your skin, to look after yourself, to look after your spirit, important, really, really important.
Definitely true. And also the fact that you need to fill your own cup up before you fill others.
100%.
So self-care for me means exactly that. It's enriching myself, allowing me to be at the best version of what I want to be so that I can truly and effectively help those around me and kind of just do that positive thing that I always love to do, man.
Completely, bro.
So that if I could have it any other way, I would spend the whole day here. But unfortunately, gee, I think I built myself up an appetite.
Oh, dude, I am starving now, Bruce. So what say we add a little food pit stop on the next leg of our journey?
Yes, please. You couldn't have said it better.
Pull and Crow and Cleaver are funky. The setting is amazing, and the food is phenomenal.
I don't know what, when it comes to a meal for you, are you like a steak kind of G?
100%, yeah.
Or is the
Well, the
steak
ridiculous
like...
thing is because I maintain that I can, and I really can, cook a restaurant quality steak. And it sounds silly, but
Should
it's
I
like
grab the weight here? You want a challenge?
Yeah, I would honestly take it on. It's like the one thing, no, that for me is like the benchmark. A really good steak is where I go to, but I mean, looking at their menu, it looks amazing.
The fact that I can always get a burger at home in any other restaurant means that I've got to try the wildest thing on the menu. So I'm always looking for something I can't pronounce or have no idea what it tastes like. So I decided to ask the recommendation from the chef, and they brought me all three options, which I'm not complaining about, and I got a beautiful array of flavors, sweet, savory, made with lots of love, and it made me truly feel like I was taken care of. This is a true me day.
Oh, where do you even begin? Oh, this looks amazing. Wow. This is much better than the steak I can cook.
This is the perfect me day. I couldn't think of a better way to do this, man. What a perfect lunch.
And it's an embrace. No, that is. That's self-care, self-love from the inside out. Absolutely beautiful, dude. So I think the perfect topper for my day, especially after an indulgent meal like this, just some relaxation. I just want to put the brakes on, do absolutely nothing, have someone maybe pamper me, you know, look after me just a little bit. So I think that'll be the perfect way to round off what really has been an awesome and amazing day so far.
This is what I think of when I think of relaxation and ending off a perfect day, G.
I don't think I've ever loved myself this much. This is like the most self-care I think I've ever had, to be quite honest.
I agree. I think I've fallen back in love with myself. That's how in love with myself I am. This is beautiful.
I love me as much as I love you.
Oh, I love you too, bro.
No, I love you, man. And I love me.
Yes, to me and you.
I miss it, man.
I miss the lead touching my face.
It was so good. I feel like I'm still glowing from that.
Because they cared so much, man. They cared so much. It was just so cool, man. The whole experience was awesome. Doing it with you, dude, was really cool,
pleasure,
man.
I can't believe that the bromance actually existed. It's gonna carry on. Of course, one reason why it did is because of self-care, and we made time for ourselves, which is absolutely important. Fill your cup up so that you can fill those with others around you and the ones that you love. And of course, hoping that Gina and I can continue this bromance too. See you later.
I'm emotional now.
2 flexible blades for a smoother shave. Open blade architecture for an easy rinse. Choose Bic Flex 2 for a closer, smoother shave.
Shoot, layer upon layer of love between those two. Now back to the actual layering. Earlier we asked you to help me or help Jamie choose between a coat and a long cardigan to pair with her knit dress. Now let's see what some of you have said. Now, I'm seeing on Facebook, we're seeing Emily Mhlambi saying the grey coat. We have Arlene Stevens who's saying good morning, Expresso team, the grey coat. And then, of course, we've got Fela who's saying the charcoal cardigan. Okay, so we're seeing a contender there. And then we've got Jade who says the grey coat. And so it gives me great pleasure to give you the announcement of the new top that she's wearing. Come on, JB. Come on in, girl. Woo,
okay, everybody. Okay, listen. This vibe hasn't set. Can we just talk about this? I'm actually really loving that everyone else felt this way because I was really voting for this one as well. But thank you so much for hyping this up.
Of course.
Also, can we just talk about the boys? The boys had a whole self-care day.
Jealous. I'm sitting here literally like recovering from the jealousy. And like, how good did that look?
Looked so good, and I feel like with this outfit, we should go have our own little spa day and step out, have our nails done, get a massage, get everything done.
We should tell
because we're bossed up for this Tuesday, but of course you can shop all of these items in store, online, or on the Who's app. And I think our Tuesday is set. It's ready to get the show on the road.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. It's a Tuesday, and we're choosing to spend it with you right here on S3 Live. It's the Expresso show, and I got the man himself. Joining me.
I knew it. I told you earlier that they're going to put me into this, and I knew it was going to happen, so here we go.
Here we go. So obviously, this morning is a beautiful one. It's about exercise. It's the countless benefits that people have whenever they move, and it's for every age. And it's especially important for seniors too. Now, older adults should aim to do some type of physical activity every single day if you can. Movement is key. Now, whether it's walking, doing a quick workout from the comfort of their home, or any exercise, it's always going to be better than none. Movement is key. So this morning, I'm going to take you through a full body workout for seniors, which will focus on improving all the areas of the body, especially when they've been worked through over the years, all right? So you guys at home, this is low impact stuff. You're going to absolutely love it. And myself and Carl are going to show you how it's done. And the man is clearly
I'm ready. I don't know what you're going to throw at me, but this guy trains hard. But
no,
it's okay.
This is not going to be too hectic. This is going to be really about focusing on the movements, reducing the impact, but at the same time, still trying to get a full body stimulation out of this, all right?
All right, cool.
So we've got our chairs over here. Let's just spin them around.
So we get some chairs at home.
Yes.
You can find the plastic chairs in your bra area.
Do you have those plastic chairs which would stack up and you could stack about 300 and they'll only be this high?
That's exactly it.
I love them, man. we should get them in the studio. All right, so we're sitting down, and this is the beauty of this workout. It's a comfortable workout.
Okay,
It can be done anywhere in the house. If you don't have a chair in the house, that's fine. Use a couch, use a crate, a bunkie, anything goes, right? So for this one, what we're going to be doing is sitting on the couch, starting off with something really chilled, and we're going to focus on the core, which is a main element that often doesn't get the stimulation it deserves, and kind of gets neglected over the years. And this is a really simple way to do it. So what we're going to be doing at the same time as working our core is also stimulating the lower back, which is another big issue area for us, okay? So what we're doing is, firstly, we're going to put our hands behind our head. And then secondly, we're going to start off with the first part of this movement is just getting a raise. So trying to get your knee to touch your elbow is the first goal. Boom! There we go. Good form. Now the pro tip for this is to go slow. Take your time with it. That's going to give extra stimulation. I like that. The muscle. So over to the other side once again. Slower to get. Nice squeeze, touching those knees, and then all the way back. Now, what we want to focus on while we're doing this is also getting that lower back to get stimulated as well. Indeed. All right, so that means, number one, sitting up tall, sitting up proud. We want to get away from slouching in the chair, getting lazy throughout the day, and then slowly sliding until you end up sitting like this, working your mouse and your keyboard.
Quite comfy.
This is usually about like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm chilling in this position. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So let's get away from that and let's focus on promoting better breathing. That means opening up the lungs and getting a good posture. Sitting back, getting the wings of your scapula at the back.
Did you just say scapula?
Scapula.
Oh my
They're
word.
those pointy little things at your back, and you almost want to pretend like you're pushing them into your back pockets. Does that make sense?
Yes. So your scapula is going to get pushed against each other. That way, you're opening the clavicle up.
Oh, wow, Dr. Cole.
Thank you so much, all right?
Should I just cancel Dr. Reed later
I can
in the
mention
show?
bones too, by the way. All right, you do your thing.
All right, so we're going to stand up looking nice and tall into the sky. What this is doing is promoting length, and then from length, we're going down and curving that spine to promote what we're calling a cat-camel movement, and this is providing that movement and flexibility in the lower back region.
Cat-camel movement?
Yes, cat-camel movement.
Oh, my word.
Do this
Cat-camel.
on our
That
knees
sounds
and
like a dessert.
So basically, for this movement right here, Carl, we're going to go for a knee touch. While I'm doing that, you can see I'm already curling my back. I'm already in that position. Now I'm going straight up, nice and tall.
That's great.
Big breath, good stimulation of the core, and then straight over to the
cat-camel
other
again.
side. Cat-camel again.
I love this.
And it's as simple as that, man. So all these things we can do with a chair. There's so many ways that we can do a squat, a sit-up. If you have weights in your hand, it's a great way to also then become more functional. So something as simple as a sit to stand is a great way to get leg functionality
That's
involved.
great. That's
But I want to show something different, and this is the upper body. It's the last one for the day, which is what I absolutely love.
Okay, cool.
Upper body stimulation, working the triceps, working the chest, working the shoulders at the same time. Obviously with the sit to stand, which is a brilliant, brilliant exercise, assisting the squat. It's a very basic one, which we've gone through in the show so many times. It's a brilliant one to do as well. So for all of these exercises, you really want to focus on 12 reps to 8 reps in total. 3 to 4 sets maximum, right? So cycling through that is going to give you an entire full body workout.
So doable.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling, by the way?
No, I'm having I'm thinking about scapula and cat-camel. I'm making notes. Right. Okay, yes.
All right, so you know me. I love promoting mobility and movement at the same time. So this is why we've got this really weird stance. I'm very far from the chair at the moment.
Okay.
So if I was standing in front of the chair, I'd be right up over here.
Yes.
I've got a nice wide stance. I see you pushing those glutes back behind you.
I have to.
Yeah, assume the position. So now what we're going to be doing is holding onto the chair. First move, we want to get our pecs and our arms to basically push down to the ground while not bending our legs.
Okay.
Now what it looks like is taking your body down, you feel that, and then lifting it straight back up. How's that feel?
I felt that's so good. That's so good. In fact, I actually even felt a little bit on the hamstring as well to open that up.
So we're working a nice posterior stretch. So it's the hamstring.
Posterior. Give me a second. I want to get my notes out. Camel, scapular, posterior.
It's a beautiful form. So just to educate you there, you got the anterior section of the body and the posterior. So currently we are stimulating that posterior chain.
That's right. I have a posterior at home. A lovely dog, really.
So you guys don't want to really focus on elongation, pulling that chair and pressing it down towards the ground, coming up into a stance, and from here you're going for a nice assisted push up, and that's where you're getting that chest stimulation.
Yes.
All right, and then straight back down once again.
Be careful that your chair doesn't slide forward.
Yep, and then coming straight back into a push-up. As simple as that, Carl. 12 reps will give you the finishing set for that set of 1.
Okay.
You're going to go for 3 to 4 sets in total, 12 reps, and there you have it, a full body workout, 0 impact, and all the gains you need.
Sure.
Enjoy.
I'm hungry now.
Of course, after that workout, it's time to refuel and refeed. And when it comes to legendary breakfast, we know this, nothing comes close to the hallowed egg and bacon combo. It is a match made in heaven. And in celebration of this match made in heaven, we've stepped up the game and created your new favorite post-workout dish. Get this, it's new-laid bacon-wrapped asparagus with poached eggs. Now, this powerhouse meal is packed with vitamins and minerals naturally occurring in the eggs. And then it's also loaded with some potassium, fiber, and folic acid, all thanks to the asparagus. I think there's only one thing that we need to say. Let's get cooking, Miss Jenny Morris.
Get cracking, baby. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so I think I'm going to do some lovely free-range new-laid. It's always fresh when it's new-laid, darling. And we're going to do a little thing happening here. This, I'm tasting to make sure that it's vinegar. Oh, delicious.
You're tasting to make sure it's vinegar?
Yes, you put vinegar in the water because it's acid. So what that does is gives you that perfect shape of the egg, okay? So now we're going to create a little vortex. Have you seen those eggs where all the white is wrapped around
I've always seen that, and that is mind-blowing. I don't know how.
Yes.
I'm going to learn today.
And you go in one direction. Okay, you get it going wild and quick.
It's like a party in the pot.
It's a party in the pot, absolutely. Give that a half a chance to just start to gather momentum. And you want this to poach nice and slow. You don't want to rapidly boil it unless you're in a big hurry. I'm going to just put this little baby next to it on the side. And while those are poaching, I'm going to show you how to wrap. And they said, you said the magic word, you said powerhouse. Now, something about eggs is, you see all the bodybuilders and all the boys here where they eat lots of protein. So you will find half the protein you will actually find in the egg white, which is incredible. Powerhouse, darling, you said powerhouse. It has got lots of vitamins and minerals. It has got zinc, copper, and
folic
iron,
acid, we
all the
say,
folic, and that's wonderful for babies, for pregnant mummies. It's the best thing ever. I should be letting you wrap this. I don't know how to wrap. Listen, spread that toast for me.
How thick would you want me to spread it?
How do I want you to spread it? Very thickly, darling. Spread it very, very thickly.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay, so we're getting it nice and thick.
Yes.
And this is cream cheese.
Cream cheese. Oh. If you wanted, you could put some chives in the cream cheese. If you don't eat bacon, I mean, you can use macon with this. You could actually make this totally vegetarian, and you could wrap courgettes around it. You know, all those delicious, yummy things. So hurry up, darling. I want to feed you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you know what I'm saying. How do you like your eggs?
I'm going to leave it up to you. Whatever you want, however you would want to serve the eggs.
Darling.
I'm at your feet today, Jenny Morris.
Really?
Yes,
okay, so put that right in the middle, sweetheart. Okay. Mine have got to be soft and trembling. So mine's like a 3-minute egg, because I want that yolk to ooze all over those asparagus, darling.
I want that yolk to ooze as well today. So all in.
So we're going to just pop that.
Side note, I've never had asparagus in my life. It's always been that thing that I was like,
yeah, just have it naked, because I want you to try it. And
I have a thing, my face is going to give the game away, so if I don't like it, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to try
I'm going to smack you. Don't you give anything away.
No pressure. Okay.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. I've been lying to myself the entire time.
Exactly.
It's good.
But especially that you haven't eaten asparagus before, it can make your wee-wee smell different.
I've heard that.
Yes.
I've heard that.
So there's nothing wrong with you, okay?
I'm not dying. I'm not
You're
dying.
not dying. No, you're not dying. So I'm going to have just the straight poached egg, like that, because I'm just like an egg person. You could also use, if you wanted to, some lemon juice. If you wanted lemon juice on the egg, and because you haven't got any vinegar in your house, or that's cooking so beautifully, should we do this thing? Should we cut it into
Before
the
we
egg?
cut into this, all the recipes, all the ingredients, expressoshow.com is where you can get your hands on this. I'm going to dig in now.
Go, girl.
Okay, how do I eat this? Because I want to do this, and I just want to push it in, but I'm sure, like, for
We're not
TV,
allowed to because we're on TV.
We're on TV.
What I do want to do is, why don't we do it this way? I'm going to cut into my yolk. Just look at that beautiful, oh my goodness.
Stop! You're showing off this morning.
Darling, you know what? My mouth is going to love me. I want you to take that. You can dip yours into my yolk. Just swirl it, baby.
Okay, wait, I'm trying to get some...
Oh, she likes it from the bottom up. Okay.
I'm trying to get some bacon on it as well.
Isn't it good? Isn't it good? And just look at that. Just look at that. So if you're watching your weight and you don't want to eat the yolk, there's so much protein in the egg white. Don't stop eating eggs.
I can't stop. I want to stop just so that I can say that this is the best breakfast that I've had in a long time. You guys know I intermittent fast. I'm not a big breakfast person, but this just changed my life, and also just great for post-workout. It just ticks all the boxes, it's perfect.
It's got everything going for you. And the combination of flavors, you've got the salty, you've got that beautiful, the eggy. I just love, for me, eggy.
Eggy,
every day.
GB just stole your song in the kitchen. Expressoshow.com, once again, is where you can get your hands on this recipe. It is mouth-watering. It is something that you need just for after a workout, but also just every single day. New laid eggs, wrapped in asparagus, all the goodness that you need. Jenny Morris is still going to be with us to make some more yumminess. But this is your Tuesday breakfast, everybody. Yeah, let's go. Sorry.
If you have an egg in your fridge, you ain't going to starve.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my
We're back on your Feel Good Breakfast show, and when it comes to our natural menstrual cycles, we all have different experience of period cramps. Now, it seems that bloating, cramps, and irritability are something many of us expect and plan for, but we rarely stop and think, what actually causes them and why are they necessarily part of our cycle? Well, here to answer all of those questions, we welcome back gynecologist and obstetrician Dr. Jason Bennett. Welcome back to Expresso.
Thanks, Zoe.
You know what, this is a very interesting conversation. Now, Dr. Bennett, a lot of us don't really think of what are some of the symptoms and causes behind period pain. We just accept it.
Yeah, so good question, Zoe. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, so some of the symptoms of dysmenorrhea is pain, and this is a dull, aching pain in your lower abdomen, and it can radiate to your thighs. It can also radiate to your lower back. But there are some other symptoms as well, such as dizziness, headaches, nausea and vomiting, and occasionally some diarrhea. With regards to the causes of dysmenorrhea, depends if it's primary dysmenorrhea, meaning there isn't really a medical cause, or secondary if we have a cause. But primary dysmenorrhea, the most common, is caused by the release of this naturally occurring substance called prostaglandins. And what prostaglandins do is that they cause the muscle of the uterus and the blood vessels of the uterus to contract and cause pain.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question. That was the hormone you spoke about last week that causes the pain. Is there anything we can do to prevent that?
Well, yes, thank goodness there is. You can use something called a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, such as Brufen. And what this does is it decreases the amount of prostaglandin and thereby decreases the amount of menstrual pain.
For people that, you know, I was always told that when it's that time of the month and you've got cramps, you need to put a hot water bottle on it. Some people find that extremely soothing. For me, it's actually the complete opposite. Is there a reason why heat plays such a different role for some people when it comes to treating pain?
Everyone is completely different, and I think when you are trying to address your own painful periods, you have to kind of find what works for you. And there are different treatments for different people. For example, what I always say is someone should start by tracking their period, so getting an app where you can work out when your periods will start happening, and you can kind of start to predict them. Okay. All right. So the next things that I always suggest is basic analgesia, such as a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug like Brufen. We can also use the birth control, so the pill, the patch, or the ring. There are some intrauterine devices that are available that have got hormones implanted in them that can really help with painful periods. But then there are some alternative therapies as well that are often advised. So good relaxation techniques, meditation, yoga, mindfulness. Good aerobic exercise is great. Having a good diet, having enough sleep. As you said, heat compressors or putting a hot water bottle on the abdomen can definitely help some people. Don't make it too hot and don't fall asleep with it. But if it works for you, then that's a great treatment.
Amazing. Well, Dr. Bennett, thank you so much for joining us this morning and unpacking and really giving us all the great tips and tricks if you are suffering from heavy periods. With Brufen, there is help relief those menstrual cramps, suffering at that time of the month. Every month doesn't have to be as bad and as uncomfortable. Targets pain caused by menstrual cramps. Brufen works where it hurts.
Now, I've got to say, as two gentlemen, we are incredibly proud to report on a project like no other in South Africa, or in fact, I think probably on the African continent. We are talking about the sanitary pad vending machine that is being launched today at a school in Observatory here in Cape Town. This is the combined work of Pilani Zama, the founding executive director of O Graceland, as well as Marius Besson, who's the co-founder and director of the Menstruation Foundation. Gentlemen, welcome to it. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Good to be here. It really is good to have you.
This is a good day. This is such great news, and it's a big and a very necessary and important launch. But the two of you gents are at the forefront, I suppose, in this instance of women's issues. Why was it so important for you guys to get involved in such an incredible cause? I mean, you're calling it the Sanitary Pads More Accessible to Girls initiative.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so 2019, my daughter was turning 8, and I felt like I had to give back to the women's sector. And I phoned an old friend of mine, Siv Ngezi, and 5 seconds into the conversation, Siv says, "No, let's start the Menstruation Foundation."
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to be contacted by Villani Zama from a Graceland with a big donation. And yeah, the rest is history. We just started from there, and it grown so much, especially during COVID, giving a lot of for women in need.
Yeah, I mean, I've followed, Siv and I are good mates, and I've followed what you guys have been doing in that space. And I love the quote that he said, if men had to bleed every month, sanitary pads would be free.
Yeah.
Is that the end goal here? What's the idea, the motivation behind the vending machine?
So the concept is really just to kill period poverty. That's the main goal. I think we tend to say that women should have sanitary pads for free just in schools, but no. In a totality, if condoms are free, why aren't pads free?
Yeah.
And so I think between Morris and I, we looked at this and we had to say what module can be sustainable, because you donate 1 month, what happens the following month, and I think the end goal is to make sure that every single month, young girls, young women, and just women in South Africa, whether you can afford it or not, it should be free.
So tell us about this vending machine. So the two of you guys have partnered to launch this vending machine. How did you guys get into that conversation, and exactly how's it going to work?
Yeah, so I mean, Siv Ngezi actually started looking at it a couple of years ago already, and then through our, giving away a lot over the last 6 months especially, we realized that 2 things, sustainability is key, but also unfortunately the system is very corrupt. A lot of MPOs don't donate to schools and education centers, community centers, but we go back and the girls never received it, or the ladies never received it. So we had to come up with a system that is obviously safe, secure, and give them access. And about 9 months of hard planning and prototypes and getting it all ready, because obviously at a lot of schools, they don't have electricity. So we had to create a machine that doesn't need electricity, that's robust, but also easy to access. And we created this vending machine with a token system. So the girls get a token signed up, and whenever she needs it for a period, she just pops it in there and pulls the lever, and she's got access for that month. And yes, it's a 12-month cycle.
Love it. Yeah. I love it.
So surely the end goal here is to get it in every school.
That's
no, definitely. and community centers and sports hubs as well. Because remember, we're working, we've got great ambassadors, the likes of Babalo Elijah, who's now the Springbok captain. And one of the things interacting with the Snalos, who's captain of the Protea team as well, one of the interactions is that women don't come to practice, and part of that is to put it into centers where it's communities and sports hubs as well. So the end goal is literally to be everywhere and everywhere with these and have the access.
Well, I love the fact that you're starting in a school, because the fact that young girls are not getting an education because of something that seems so rudimentary.
Shouldn't be happening.
It should not be happening.
Definitely.
You're launching at a school, rightfully so, an observatory today. It's called the School of Hope. Why this school specifically?
So there's actually 2 parts of it. So we work with 56 schools currently actively in the Western Cape, over 50,000 ladies. And so we obviously go out for corporates and funders for these machines, and then we give them the list, and they actually choose. And our first sponsor then chose School of Hope, which actually...
yes, which was for me a gift, because we've partnered with...
It's Providence, man. It's Providence.
We've partnered with School of Hope for the longest time. Our young ladies at Old Graceland go to School of Hope. And I think when the corporate chose that school, I was just like a no-brainer. And it was a beautiful match in that sense.
It's funny how life works out like that.
Definitely.
When the intentions are right. But it also means you're tapping into a bigger movement now.
Yeah.
You talk about Old Graceland. What do you guys do? What's at the heart of your work?
So Old Graceland stands in the gap for specifically young women transitioning out of care. So when youth get to the age of 18, they have to leave children's homes or foster care. But the problem is, where do you go to? You're an orphan. Government gets to a point where they say, well, you know,
you're an adult now.
You're an adult now. But I mean, where do you go to? And so I then started, or I founded Old Graceland with the intention to be in that space and that gap, to be like, you know, we can get you to independence. So our main goal is to get young women to independence, and so they have a safe space to live, and they get to thrive. And I think also the combination of Menstruation Foundation, we've literally created a holistic independence program for them to be independent.
And a model that can be very easily duplicated with money.
No,
with
definitely.
money.
People getting
with
involved.
money.
Definitely. I mean, in 4 years, we've 8 young women have become independent through Old Graceland.
It's beautiful.
And you imagine that knock-on effect. Yeah.
It can grow. Guys, your work is inspiring. It is so, so necessary, and we need everybody rallying behind this narrative and this intention. And of course, this landmark project is going to see more vending machines produced and rolled out to needing schools and communities. And here's to more good work and corporates really getting involved. Come on, guys. Thank you, Marius. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here on SABC3, and I know that sometimes when it comes to buying a house, it might be very, very, you know, it's a very daunting thing. Trust me, when I was thinking about buying a house, I didn't know what was going on. I know no one offered me any sort of guidance or anything. Have you considered?
So I have considered, because I like to dream.
Yeah.
And I look up in the mountains and I see these beautiful places, and then I see the price in the magazine and I think, that's it. And then I realize, wait, how am I going to afford this house? And there's this thing called like credit scores and like, I don't know, Leo, how's your debt rating? And
that's exactly what I was
and then I
thinking
just gave up.
No, that's the thing. So the whole, you know, the whole credit score thing, I think that's something that everybody kind of needs to know about, because we think about, you know, what it does for you and how it impacts the home loan process. I mean, also, it actually gives somebody an indication as to how you manage your money, how you pay in for your debts, how you are up to date, all of those things. You get a rating for that. So, you know, if you think that going to school, I need to be very good at school because I'm diligent and I'm up to date with all my work, the same thing applies when it comes to when you get to the adult stage of life.
Exams of your...
Exactly. And you get a credit score, and the number would be between around like 0 to 999, and it's calculated using a formula that evaluates how you pay your bills, as mentioned, how much debt you have, as well as all of the things that the comparisons between borrowers and how you've dealt with that. It is a single number that tells you and the banks how you manage your existing credit, which is
One single number to
So you know when you leave
determine
school,
my
you're thinking,
fate.
oh my word, no more exams. There is still a lot to be said about being diligent and up to date with your work.
Yeah.
Because credit score comes into play later.
But definitely a worthy cause. I mean, considering our dream home, it's definitely something to work towards. And of course, I would imagine the higher your credit score, the better you are at managing your money. And the more likely banks are then to also borrow you that money. So when it comes to your home loan, your credit score has a huge impact on your home loan application. And that also provides the bank with the insight into your past credit behavior and also gives you an indication of whether you'll be able to afford your monthly repayments.
It's the report, as you said. This is the
it's
report of
making
life.
sense, man.
The adulting report is the credit score. Now, if your credit score isn't great, you do have the power to change it and make sure that you pay all your accounts by the due date. That's number one, because if your payment is late, you will be charged interest and it will affect your payment history and credit score negatively.
So I'm just trying to check out where I need to know what my credit score is. So it looks like there's multiple websites where we can get this. So you can get a free annual credit score report, and we can post those links on our social media channels right now for you and me to check out and find out what our credit score is. And if you want to own your own dream home, like Cole and I do, then you need to start having a great credit score. So to get more information on the home loan process, you can visit Nedbank, or to visit nedbank.co.za/home loans, and all the information you need to get one step closer to that dream is all inside that site. Carl, you ready for this, man?
I'm ready for I know you're ready as well. The credit score going. Let's go.
Well, before we crack on to
Here's
this,
to you, Mzansi. Combine multiple loans into one with one affordable repayment. Get a Nedbank personal loan. Apply at nedbank.co.za/personal loans.
Amid fears of the possibility of the country experiencing a third wave of COVID-19 infections, models show that there is a low risk, although the country remains vulnerable. As we start our 7 o'clock news here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Now, this is according to a finding using an artificial intelligence-based algorithm designed by Wits University in partnership with Itemba Labs, the provincial government of Gauteng, and York University in Canada. Wits said that the AI-powered early detection system functions by predicting future daily confirmed cases, which are based on historical data from South Africa's past infection history. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa says that the COVID-19 pandemic has showcased Africa's capabilities in science and in health response. Speaking during the Africa Center for Disease Control's two-day conference on vaccine manufacturing, Ramaphosa said that the talent was and is there and has always been there, but resources were a challenge. He said Africa's task now was to harness the continent's capabilities and draw on the experience of the past year to build a vibrant and innovative African medical supplies manufacturing capability that meets the health needs of the continent's people. In international news, the Iranian foreign minister has said that his country will take revenge for a cyber attack on an underground nuclear site, which it has blamed Israel for. Iranian officials said that the Natanz uranium enrichment plant was the target of nuclear terrorism on Sunday after initially reporting a power failure. New advanced centrifuges to enrich uranium had been activated just there, and Israel hasn't responded, but public radio cited intelligence sources as saying it was an Israeli secret service cyber operation and that it had caused more extensive damage than Iran had reported. In Africa, Uganda and Tanzania have signed 3 key agreements aimed at developing Uganda's oil and gas industry during Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan's visit. The agreement on shareholding for the pipeline, as well as the transportation and tax deals, are a step towards the start of the construction of a crude oil pipeline. The two countries will build an almost 1,500-kilometer long oil pipeline to pump Uganda's oil to Tanzania's Indian Ocean port of Tanga. It will be the longest heated oil pipeline in the world and should be completed by the year 2025. And next, encouraging news from Nepal regarding rhinos. Thousands of one-horned rhinos once roamed the southern plains of the Himalayan Indian nation of Nepal, but rampant poaching and human encroachment had reduced their numbers to around 100 in the 1960s. Of late, there has been most encouraging news. Nepal's population of endangered one-horned rhino has grown by more than 100 over the past 6 years, and campaigners have hailed the increase as a conservation milestone. The population rose to 752 across 4 national parks in the southern plains, up from 645 in 2015. Now, since 1994, Nepal has conducted a rhino census once every 5 years in an effort to boost population numbers for the species listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. And in 1994, 466 rhino were counted. In March of this year, some 250 personnel, including enumerators, soldiers and veterinarians, rode on 57 elephants for nearly 3 weeks to count the rhinos. And the World Wildlife Fund called the population increase a milestone for Nepal and praised the government's anti-poaching and conservation initiatives. That's where we leave it for now. The next update just after 8. Here's a look at what's happening in sports with Graham.
Thanks so much, Tobiso. Let's start with the good news first. The Proteas have bounced back from their back-to-back ODI and T20 international losses to Pakistan to beat the hosts, or rather the visitors, by 6 wickets in the second T20 match, playing out at the new Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg. So Pakistan, who won the toss and elected to bat, posted 140 in their allotted 20 overs. South Africa then reached that target in just 14 overs, with Aiden Markram hitting 54 from 30 deliveries. The third T20 match will take place tomorrow. That kicks off again at 2:30 in the afternoon. Then a century by Rajasthan Royals captain Sanju Samson wasn't enough in the end to lead his team to a win over the Punjab Kings in the brand new Indian Premier League season. The Kings, they registered a breathtaking last ball 4-run victory at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. They posted 221 for 6 thanks to a 91 from KL Rahul, 64 from Deepak Hooda and Chris Gale's 40 runs as well. The Royal skipper Samson smashed 119 runs from just 63 deliveries, but his team fell short of that win. There'll be just one IPL fixture today, and that sees the Kolkata Knight Riders taking on defending champions Mumbai Indians at 4 p.m. And then plenty of rugby action locally on offer. CPUT got their Varsity Shield campaign off to a winning start, claiming a 36-20 victory over UFH. And then the 2019 champions, they secured the win at Loftus Versfeld despite receiving 1 red card and 2 yellow cards. In the other opening round results, some big wins. UKZN, they scored 10 tries to beat newcomers Rhodes University 62-15, and WSU, they ran in an impressive 22 tries to beat DUT's Rhinos 136-11. Incredibly one-sided match there. But the Varsity Shield competition has shown some massive progress already, and it continues on Thursday with 3 matches at their Biodome at the Tuks Stadium. That's where we leave our sporting headlines for now. Let's get another look at some of your beautiful sunrise vistas.
Thanks a lot, G. Your sunrise photos make me happy, and we love featuring these photos that our wonderful viewers, that's you, take in their part of the country. So thanks a lot. Keep it coming. Your 7 a.m. weather update is no different as we get into another couple of these. Ralph Brunt, thank you for sending in your picture. You're from Uitenhage, of course, and he shared this gorgeous multicolored skyline with us. A humid day with a maximum of 25 degrees Celsius is forecast for Uitenhage. Ricardo Jennison from Fabe Worm in the Overberg got creative with this image of the sun peeking over the hills in the distance. If you're in the Overberg region today, a pleasant day with times of sun and clouds are forecast with a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius. Now, if you would like to send any of your photos and send it through and get it featured on the segment, I've got some great news for you. All you have to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo with us. If your sunrise snaps are prize winners, you can win one of those oh-so-chic Nespresso travel mugs each week for 5 weeks. Do remember to post your pictures to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook page with the hashtag Nespresso Sunrise. Now, while we enjoy Expresso experiencing a sunrise from your part of South Africa. We do have some international viewers tuning in on both the YouTube and Africa channels in the US of A. And this morning we want to feature a very, very special place, Kinshasa, the capital and largest city of the Democratic Republic of Congo. With a population of 15 million as of 2021, it is the largest city in Africa. Today, your weather, you can expect periods of cloud and sunshine. If you are in Kinshasa, the maximum will be 34 degrees Celsius, so do hydrate in that area. Now, staying with some weather news, we've just heard in our news report that rhino numbers in Nepal are on the up, but another inhabitant as endangered as the one-horned rhino with only 2,500 left in the wild is currently threatened by the numerous bushfires ranging in the mountains, and this is the stamping ground of the red pandas. Now, although red pandas share some characteristics with the black and white giants, they are not related at all. Adult red pandas typically weigh only about 5 kilograms, making them nimble for life high above the ground in trees. Scientists say the forest fires in Nepal have been the worst for 15 years. And last month alone, some 500 forest fires were recorded. Parts of Nepal have been seen a prolonged dry spell in the past years, with no rain or snow, leaving forest tinders dry. The Red Panda Network, solely dedicated to conserving the species, is now working closely with Nepalese communities to protect the red panda and its habitat. Now let's take a look at your habitat in South Africa when it comes to temperatures. And starting off in Polokwane, as always, 13 to 29 is your temperatures today. Bombela, 16 to 32. Pretoria, you can expect a high of 29 later from a low of 16. Johannesburg, looking sunny on your side, 14 to 28. Mahikeng, same for you, 30 the max from a low of 12. Klerksdorp starts with 13, and that rises to a high of 31 degrees Celsius. Kimberley, you can expect 14 this morning to a high of 32. Bloemfontein, 30 the max from a low of 9. Richards Bay can expect 31, and that is from a low of 21 degrees Celsius. Pietermaritzburg, you start with 15, rising to 31 later. Durban, 21 to 28. Mthatha, 14 to 32. East London, 20 to 27. Cradock, you can expect 35 degrees as your high, and that's from a low of 12. Gqeberha, 18 to 25. George, 14 to 25 for you. The Mother City, 26 the max from a low of 17. Worcester, 15 to 36. Sutherland, you can expect 29 as a maximum from a minimum of 12, and wrapping with Uppington, 18 to 36 degrees Celsius. Sunny conditions all over South Africa, and if it is indeed sunny and you got a good sunrise, send it my way. There's a competition, and I want you to win, so keep on sending it over to the Expresso Facebook page. As we check out on some of the comments related to one thing, the Expresso karaoke, I cannot wait to see this.
Just like we've been getting into it, you guys at home have been getting into it as well. Some impressive song choices, some ridiculous song choices. We will do whatever, you know.
But we take it on with such confidence, and I think that's
vigor.
Yeah, every single time we nail it, we sound sometimes like cats are dying, but it's okay.
Pretty much every time. Pretty much every time. But that's the fun, the joy of it is. And I can't tell you how good it feels to just belt out a song like that. So let's see what has been coming through. See, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You let it all out. Mochao saying, good morning, team. Hey, Jude, even Ryle can deal with the rain.
It's the shade for me. Even Ryle.
Even Ryle's got a voice, man. I'm sure he sang in a choir at some point. Chantel Stanley saying, definitely raining men. That's a bit naughty.
Yeah.
That's a bit naughty, eh?
But myself and Zoe will have to do, and then you guys can do a backup. Tolwando says, good morning, family team. Definitely raining men.
Come on, man. You're starting a trend. Maybe. Obida saying, morning, guys. Definitely welcome to Cape Town. Let the locals come for a staycation in the most beautiful city in the country, in the world, man.
We can do
Come
that.
on,
We can
I'll
definitely
dig
do that. And of course, our top fan, Josephine Pickstone, says, Rick Ashley's song, Never Gonna Give
Never
You
gonna
Up.
give you up, never gonna let you down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I can
Keep
do
going,
that.
keep going. That was good.
No. Save it. This voice I need to save. Will we choose one of those songs? You're gonna have to wait until the end of the show to find out.
Never gonna give.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is indeed your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso here on S3, and we have something very special for you. This is somebody, I want to make it as epic as I can, so let's do. She was born as Lindiwe Veronica Skosana, but many people know this feisty rapper as Expresso. You have to say it with an echo. Expresso. A force in the South African hip-hop industry who keeps her fans grooving with their infectious Kasi beats.
Oh yeah, and she's joining us this morning as our performer amidst the release of her official debut single, Quantum. But we'd like to get to know her before she takes to the stage. So ladies and gentlemen, we are amongst a royalty right now, the Queen of Kasi rap.
Yes!
Expresso in the building! A small percentage of the welcome that you do deserve, but nonetheless, it's so good to have you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you guys?
You are the Queen of Kasi rap here. We are fine.
We are blessed.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You know, let's start from the beginning. Now, I mentioned your real name. I'm sorry about that. I want to get the back. You know, I basically Wikipedia'd you now, which is good. But now, in terms of when a rapper chooses their name, apparently the name comes to them. How did Expresso, the movement, their Kasi rap vibe start?
Well, Expresso, she's a female rapper from Mpumalanga, Witbank, Malahleni. You know Malahleni?
Do you know
Malahleni, Witbank, Mpumalanga. Yeah.
Educate us.
Yeah, I'm from Mpumalanga. Yeah. Ikamala Expresso, like it's from the street.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's from the street. I used to be a battle rapper.
Yes.
Yeah, in the freestyle. So there was a friend of mine. He was like, yeah, Expresso man, you need to assess them. Yeah. And I was like, yo, nah, likamelisha man. Assessa. Yeah, Expresso. Mangas bizango Expresso, then zoba Expresso.
You see, that's it. Assess the situation.
Yes.
Break them down with your flow. That's it.
Exactly.
And that's how it was born.
And I believe, obviously, chatting off record, off that camera earlier, you've been doing this since like young. It's been in your blood for so long.
Since from a primary, like secondary, then a secondary it's where we understand. We would say, okay, there's freestyle, there's battling. So we used to battle. During our break times. This battling every day.
And battling for me, honestly, is like such a premium form of rapping. It's on the spot. You don't get time to prepare. You're getting into that flow state. And you've been doing that all the way through up until 2015 when you got an incredible award.
Actually, 2010, go back to the city. You know, back to the city. Yeah, back to the city. I won a 10K challenge.
So take it 5 years back. Before that, you were already getting credit. You were already getting the props.
10K challenge, like Ben Petlila na 4 guys. And I was the only female MC there.
And that's actually a brilliant point because, I mean, in the industry alone,
10K.
That's it.
You're getting acknowledged in a space where, for me, females don't get the credit that they truly deserve. And you showing, you glowing, you coming into the scene, and you making a statement. And I mean, 2010, 10K, 2015, South African hip-hop artist. I mean, for you as a female rapper, do you think that there's enough representation in the game, or you feel like you're on your own?
No, for me, Kakulu in hip-hop, I feel like hip-hop, it was designed for maybe 2 female MCs, you know. So, for me, Mina Zankeng is born as, I don't want people to recognize me as a female MC.
Yeah.
That is why ni battler, that is why I'm a freestyler, that is why I'm battling with 4 guys. Yeah, so Zankeng funda bantu bangithathe as a female MC. So, go hip hop, I feel like abas accepti the way, abas accepti ngendlela ekumele bas accepte ngakhona, especially thina ama female MCs. Cause nje namanje, how many female MCs do you know? Abaku spotlight.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, ngifila ngathi we need more female MCs, we need more stories ezibuya kuma female MCs. So if singathola leyo nto leyo, then zoba happy nami.
There we go. And that's the thing. You have to assess out the situation first and know that I liked what you said now.
That's what
it's not about
now.
It's not about your gender coming into the game. It's about how good you are. And anybody who can beat any 4 experienced MCs and get yourself a 10K is somebody definitely worth taking a look at. And you will see a lot more of Assessa on the show with a debut single named Quantum coming up a little later. It is going to be absolutely incredible, and I guarantee you it's going to be a spectacle. So make sure you check out the TV and also take some notes down, because you're going to want to see this particular rapper going through the SA music industry and just dominating. It is happening already, and it will happen on the Expresso show here on S3 a little later. So keep the bars coming. It's going to be amazing.
Keep the flow, keep the energy. It's all that we need for this Tuesday. Of course, we are joining you this morning as you sip on maybe your first cup of coffee for the morning, or maybe your second.
Fifth, I don't know.
But of course, if there's one thing that we've learned over the past couple of months is that so much care and also attention goes into the growing and also the processing of this coffee to give you the ultimate cup that we need every single morning.
Yeah, completely. And with the introduction of the limited edition Master Origins La Complida Refinada coffee, Nespresso has opened our eyes, and I went through the whole process with you last week, to the magically unique process of coffee bean fermentation, and you can taste the difference. So before the delicate fermentation can begin, the coffee is lovingly grown on smallhold farms in the tiny La Complida region in the heart of Nicaragua by very experienced local coffee farmers who are invested in. And these skilled craftsmen not only cultivate the finest coffee beans, they also choose the conditions in which to ferment the coffee, then both of which obviously influence the taste in every single cup. And the farmers worked hand in hand with coffee experts to develop the unique fermentation process that gives La Complida Refinada a very unique and a beautifully fruity taste. It's completely different to anything I've tasted before. And the co-development process isn't just one of creating the best flavorful coffee, which is great, but it also shows the company's commitment to the farmers and the respect for their craft and the community and the sustainability of coffee farming in that region. And I love this fact, Jamie, that 20 farms in La Complida in that region are now contributing their coffee cherries, as we call them, and they are all the agroforestry havens in the area. Nespresso, in fact, have planted 100,000 indigenous trees to help to protect the natural habitat of that region.
That is
creating the ecosystem on every level. I love that.
That is amazing. And all to get us this perfect cup of coffee that we have right here. And obviously, we seldom think about how much care and really the effort that goes into creating that perfect cup, the perfect cup that we have right here. Now, to hear all about the efforts that goes into supporting the coffee farmers, their farms, and also the environment makes Nespresso taste even so much better. So, cheers to you.
No, cheers to you.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment, because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso, what else?
gorgeous people, welcome to it. Back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso here on S3, where we're opening up to fun and games. We've all played 30 seconds before. Have you actually played 30 seconds before? I know I have. And if you've played the Expresso edition, then you know it's quite competitive. But if you haven't played the Expresso edition, well, I think not. This morning, we bring you 30 seconds with a twist, where each word is associated with something that relates to our show this morning. Okay, all right? Now, before Asesa performs, we decided to play this game with her. Asesa, it's very important. When you come to Expresso, games are part of the experience. Are you big on gaming?
Yeah, I'm big.
She's ready. And then Ryle and Jamie Lee teaming up to go up against Asesa and Uncle Tabsy. Ryle, Jamie Lee, are you guys ready for it?
We were born ready.
So you all know how 30 seconds works, is that you've got a card over there. There's 4 cards. You've each got to grab a card, and then you've got 30 seconds to try and give as many clues to your teammate, and hopefully they get it all right. Right?
Okay.
You know how it works,
And the
right?
words relate to what happened in the show.
The words relate to everything that is taking place on today's show. So you've got to be paying attention. Have you been paying attention since 6 o'clock?
And so you can't say the actual word that's on the card, right? Just to make it short.
That is the rule of 30 seconds. You cannot say the word and you can't spell it out.
Okay.
Can you sing it?
How can you sing it without saying it?
Hum. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just. Everyone has.
I've never seen this version of 30 seconds.
Everyone has different rules. So I have to make sure that we're all on the
Okay,
same
well,
page.
let's start. Okay, so I don't know. How would you guys like to do this? Do you want us to be fair because I'm hosting?
So I believe Asessa's never played the game before.
Yeah, so let's start
maybe
with you
let's
guys.
go first so she gets an understanding of it at least.
Perfection. Let's go.
Can I go first?
Ooh,
let's go. Jamie, you go first.
Mess this up, Jamie.
You go
Okay, okay. I got this. All right.
All right.
Is there a timer?
So you've got your clock.
I don't know why I'm standing, but when you play this game, it gets intense. So I just stand.
Yeah, he might find himself here at some point. Please don't worry. But security and bouncers and bodyguards, don't be alarmed. Okay, let's go. 30 seconds
3,
now.
2, 1, let's go. Okay, it's a thing you take to not get the COVID virus.
Vaccine.
Yeah, okay. It's made from clover. It's got beautiful minerals and vitamins. It's white and...
Asparagus egg.
No, it goes in...
Butter,
you open it
mayonnaise.
up. We had it this morning in the show with Carl.
Yogurt.
Yeah! It's a place where you can get medicine and...
Hospital, clinic.
We have them of the week. It's Adcock Ingram, as they love it.
Pharmacy of the week.
Yes. It's not big, but...
Okay.
Small,
And
tiny.
another version for small is...
Klein.
Klein? This is going to be...
Love.
Did you think Klein Vrijdag was here? That was a good one.
Well done. How did you guys do? How did they do over there? So you got
yogurt
vaccine,
and
yogurt,
pharmacy. We got 3.
pharmacy. 3 out of 5.
What were you trying to explain to me?
Microbiologist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so I'm going to grab a card, okay?
Yo, I'm sweating tons.
Asesa.
You ready?
Okay, let's go.
Spangen.
The darker the the sweeter the juice. The darker the... Berry is correct. They wear khaki shorts and khaki shirts, and they've got big calves. What are these people called? If it's one person, what is he called? And he speaks Afrikaans. And he wears khaki shorts and a khaki shirt. Not a boo, another word for a boo. Farmer! We did badly.
But I use the Afrikaans name. Come on.
But boer isn't an Afrikaans name for farmer. I mean, my clue was terrible. First of all.
I love the outfit, though. I think you nailed it.
I think it's the outfit, you know. Oh, man, we've still had 3 more to go. We had, 3 others to go.
Oh, that was fun.
Jamie Lee, let's see how you do. So we'll
You did good, Mama. You did very good. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. The score that you just checked earlier on, what is it called?
The score.
Debit, not debit pack?
Oh, credit score.
Yes, there we go. What is this? Another word for this?
Fleece, jersey, coat.
No, sorry.
More jersey.
Trench coat.
Another one? Okay, girl.
Boy.
Yes, the stuff that you eat in the morning, eggs and...
Bacon?
Yes. Your manana that I need.
Your coffee that I need.
There we go. Another word for this.
Jersey, jacket, coat,
Another
overall.
one. More. Keep going.
Long thing. Jacket?
No, keep going.
What is that? That is time. This game is anxiety-inducing. I don't think you're allowed to sing the songs, Jamie. You can't harm
No, I didn't say anything.
But I mean, that's a giveaway.
Her voice just sounds so sweet. It sounds like a song when she speaks, Tabs. Come on.
This is rigged. This is cheating. Okay, Asesa, let's go. Okay. Oh, okay. We're confronting each other by facing each other.
If uhlakanipha unjani? Yeah. If udom unjani? Yeah.
Stupid?
No.
Smart.
If udom, yeah.
Clever?
No.
Dumb?
No.
Okay, next one.
Okay, shuthi ithengise ihamba nekota phakathi bayifaka ikota.
Bologna?
Chips.
Eggs.
Chips. Isikolo you have to pay at the end of the month.
Fees. School fees, tuition.
No, you have to pay at the end of the month.
Pay, rent.
No.
Salary.
You have to pay. You have to pay. You have to pay.
What am I paying?
Bill.
Huh?
Bill.
Can you pay my
I usually pay my bills at the end of the meal, not the month. I'm just like,
usually pay.
Yeah, but he's special.
I wish I could
he
pay my
always does
bills
it
at
in
the
the middle,
end.
man. That's not your fault.
Okay, well,
Who won?
I mean,
Who won?
Let's just end this right now. Thank you very much. When we return, we've got a performance by Asesa, so stay tuned. And of course, I can tell you one thing, Asesa is a far better rapper and queen on the stage than she is at giving 30 seconds. We'll see you after this.
Hey man, hey, it's all in the partner you get. And of course, we are partnering up to have a little bit of fun at the end of the day. Today, it is Tuesday karaoke time, and we've been asking for you guys to weigh in with some of your choices. Heal the World by Michael Jackson. Le Hutso, I don't know if Michael Jackson is within our range. Fatah Khan, have a fabulous Tuesday. Stay safe, everyone. Same thing to you, man. Gary Oakham, all the regulars weighing in this morning. I think it's about time all the boys dressed up in drag again and sing. Sisters are doing it for themselves. Come on, buddy. What are you doing, man? That's going to stick. You know that's going to stick. And Raul's keen, eh? He's very keen. Sharon Harrison saying, that's what friends are for. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you. All good suggestions, and I think all within our capabilities. And we will do it regardless. We will embrace the opportunity, and yes, we will sing. But don't worry, before then you get a bona fide performance. Asesa is in the studio. She is going to rip up some bars in just a moment. So you want to sit tight?
Okay, so the 30 seconds game, this is about to redeem everything because there's somebody, it's Cassie's queen of rap, somebody amazing, somebody with blonde dreads. It is Asesa with her first performance right here on Expresso and S3. This one is going to blow your mind. She's on the mic. Bar's going to be dropped very soon. It's her track, Cassie Politics, right here on Expresso. Enjoy.
Ngibonga nama-hustler waseGasi nama-single parents ibaba ngenza ukuthi ngivuke ekuseni ngiyophanda ngithathe riski mina ngilali ngiyalifuna lesaka kuraphe Gasi ikhanye sasa lihlala kumashonisa mntanakana kudlo kwena landa amaphoyisa sebenza buka amantshintshi akhole imali yokudobha isigubhu eGasi iyawondla umndeni eish enhle kuraphe Gasi ntwana na 16 iphethe indabi nogwayi ngane na 16 ibeka umntwana ngebhayi eish enhle kuraphe Gasi khula box igcwele kodwa endlini ukudla kukho everyday sivuka ngomgamulo kuraphe Gasi imali enhlazi ithenga isinto inxele iqhume mina enhle kuraphe Gasi kuyafiwa akukho uthule Gasi kuhlala kuliwa thina sibonga ukuvuka futhi thina sibonga ukuphila asebenzi ngapha nezinto ziyabiza ngibonga ama-hotman waseGasi ngibonga nama-hustler waseGasi nama-single parents ibaba ngenza ukuthi ngivuke ekuseni ngiyophanda ngithathe riski mina ngilali ngiyalifuna lesaka ngibonga ama-hotman waseGasi ngibonga nama-hustler waseGasi nama-single parents ibaba ngenza ukuthi ngivuke ekuseni ngiyophanda ngithathe riski mina ngilali ngiyalifuna lesaka igesi sihlala ingekho siphila ngekhansela siphila ngeparafini drama stop ilayita nekhandlela tanokwaneka isifuba kumele esibhedlela amanzi awuklina ngozoboni yasilela ukuthenga lena siphuza amanzi adodi siyabekezela kumele sithule sishaye ngathi asibone next ngoba sasengiyakazi ikhanduzwa ngeraba bullet baswadana bathi siyaba-attack basibizela bomthetho bathi bayasiprotect lakukhulunywa ngegasi khuluma ngeslang sonke sivuke ekuseni siphonda imali suthi ngithina slang sebenza ngesikhathi ngifuna ishona langa phuma iplan ehle kurafekasi bathathele imali bakushiyulile bakushiyulele phansi abathethelele kasi phele ngusamfelidas kurafekasi usinda nangabe uhamba namaphansi ngibonga ama-hotman wasegasi ngibonga nama-hasla wasegasi nama-single parents ibaba ngenza ukuthi ngivuke ekuseni ngiyophanda ngithatha iriski mina ngilali ngiyalifunda lesaka ngibonga ama-hotman wasegasi ngibonga nama-hasla wasegasi nama-single parents ibaba ngenza ukuthi ngivuke ekuseni ngiyophanda ngithatha iriski mina ngilali ngiyalifunda lesaka
Boss. That's a Sessa. You're going to hear more from her a little bit later right here on Expresso. Make sure you stick around because coming up, more news about the vaccine. In fact, info, plus we're back in the kitchen with Jenny Morris. So stay right here on S3. I love it.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on S3. It's a Tuesday morning. That means we are talking health. And now, South Africa is preparing for phase 2 of the vaccine rollout plan, which will see persons over 60, persons over 18 with comorbidities and essential workers get vaccinated. Now, over 288,000 South Africans have already received the COVID-19 vaccine as the number continues to rise. An infectious diseases specialist, Dr. Emil Reed, is back from holiday, looking radiant, and is giving us a coronavirus vaccine update. Of course, we invite you to get in touch with us on 021 110 552 if you've got any questions for the good Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed,
morning,
you've got a glow back with you. It's so good to have you back.
Exactly. So good to be back.
Looking well rested.
I am. Thank you very, very much.
Glowing after that holiday. Well, Doc, let's get straight into it, of course. I'm sure South Africa is dying to know, what are the numbers looking like at the moment? I mean, how are the infections going?
Well, guys, things are looking very, very good.
Okay.
We're currently sitting around about 20,000 active cases. And remember, not too long ago, we were in a similar position, round about end of September, October last year.
Yeah.
So we have this absolute lull about COVID-19, but people should not forget it's the invisible enemy. And we need to continue with our mitigation strategies the way we've been doing. And I know people are becoming COVID fatigue. They don't want to wear their mask. They want to go and wine and dine with their friends. But now is not the time to actually do it.
We have to be extra cautious, especially right now, if we're going to try and pause or delay anything of that nature.
Exactly.
But we know that the vaccine has already arrived in its first phase in South Africa. We've spoken about this and reported on it that the healthcare workers and those in the front line in that sense have received it. Do you have an update on that? Who exactly has received it and who's in line to get it next?
Well, if one look at the phase 1 of the vaccine rollout, the so-called implementation phase or the implementation study, it's not a trial, so nobody is getting placebo, everybody's getting the active vaccine. And currently about, as you said earlier, 288,000 healthcare workers have been vaccinated. And we're aiming during the first phase to vaccinate around about 1.3 million healthcare providers. So we still have a far way to go. And the important thing is to remember that we need to get to something called herd immunity, meaning that between 70 and 85% of everybody should either get immunity due to contracting the disease or they should be vaccinated. And currently in South Africa, we're sitting around about 0.5% of the population that have been inoculated. So we still have a far way to go in order to...
ocean, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So currently the only people that are truly protected are those healthcare providers which already received the jab in their arm.
Wow, Doc. So it looks like the numbers definitely need to climb. But, I mean, let's talk about the fact that if we were to get vaccinated, would it mean that we would need to get another vaccination if a new strain came through within the same year of us having gotten the vaccination initially?
Well, that's going to depend on what happens to the virus. And as I said before, the more we allow this virus to replicate, we can expect more variants to develop. And currently we sat with a variant in South Africa that actually caused, that annihilated our healthcare system towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Britain is sitting with a variant there. Brazil is sitting with the third version of the variant, which is more transmissible, and it's actually causing havoc in those countries. So if we look at the Northern Hemisphere currently, just in the last week, there were more than 4 million new cases of corona virus infection that was diagnosed worldwide. So really we are on an upward trajectory. And currently in South Africa, if we took note of what happened last year, we probably expect the same to be happening.
Staggering. 4 million, that is a lot of people contracting the coronavirus. And of course it sounds, and we all know surely by now, that it's such an unpredictable virus. But of course, this conversation with Dr. Emile Reid continues here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show with your questions. We take them, we welcome them on 021 110 5552. We'll find out all about this next phase of vaccinations that's coming through and how that system is going to work, how all of you at home and us here are going to be able to register for that and be a part of it. Right now, we take it to the kitchen for some kitchen inspiration.
Yep, now looking for some nutritious, I say it because my mouth is watering so much, snack inspiration. Look no further because the utterly fabulous Jenny Morris is taking some spinach and turning it into crispy chili bite chippies, served with a minted yogurt and hot, sweet and sour sauce. This is my vibe.
Is it your vibe?
This is my vibe, girl. This is awesome. I mean, the finished product looks amazing. I cannot wait to see how we get there. Where do we start, Jenny Morris?
Well, sweetheart, we start with the batter. I mean, you could be clever and take everything from scratch. We could be smart. And you could just buy a box of chili bite mix and take it and make love to it, okay?
I love that.
So we're going to give it some garlic because you want that lovely spice. You want some gorgeous herbs. I've got some
oomph,
coriander.
yeah.
Oh, yes, it's going to give it oomph. Now, do you really want some oomph? Can I put chili in it?
It's a chili bite.
Oh,
it's
yes,
a
baby.
chili
There's
bite.
chili, she's going to bite you.
I want my brow to sweat when I have these.
It won't only be your brow that's sweating, trust me. You'll be squashing. They're very hot ones, these ones. I'll put in some turmeric.
Okay.
Once again, because we're talking healthy snacks. So it's got wonderful antibacterial, antibiotic, anti-inflammatory, deliciousness.
So it really is a superfood, yeah.
This is a superfood, darling. This is a superfood like the eggs we had for breakfast earlier. Divine. But vegans can eat this. There aren't any eggs in here. Now, what you want is to make this to the consistency. I just hope I haven't overshot the mark here. But if you do, you can always add a bit of flour.
A bit more, okay, just to give it a bit more body.
Because
Okay.
you want it to stick, but you don't want it to roll off in the oil, okay? So rather go slowly and put a little bit and add.
Little bit, okay.
Absolutely add. Once I've got this in the oil, Graham, I'm going to ask you to make that delicious sauce that's going to
The
go
mint
with it.
yogurt sauce, yummy.
That's going to be lovely with some lovely clover.
Okay, so that's looking good. So what's going on? I recognize the cucumber.
The cucumber. Okay, we've
So
got
is that
cucumber,
going in?
yes. And we will put some more coriander in because I'm a coriander freak.
I know. Maybe this will win me over.
It's darling.
I think that's the mint that's going
the
in
mint,
there. Okay.
absolutely.
Oh, that's going to go beautifully. Then a rind.
That is fresh lemon zest.
Oh,
lemon zest is once again very, very healthy. While you're doing that, I want to just get back to the spinach being a healthy snack.
Yeah.
You see, the thing with spinach, for me, it's nutrient dense. So it's got all the deliciousness that your body wants. It has B6s and 9s, but it has iron, it's got calcium. But the thing is, with those two nutrients, calcium and iron, because it's got oxalic acid, it doesn't allow the body to absorb that. So that's why this is one of the vegetables that are far better for you cooked.
Okay.
So it breaks down the oxalic acid.
It allows your body to assimilate. And what I like is, when you use not the baby spinach, but the thick, fully grown spinach.
Oh, yes, because
it's quite a robust leaf.
It's
so it kind of can handle the weight of the batter.
Oh, look at this.
What are you doing there?
I'm making sure that the oil, so just take a little wooden spoon, sweetheart, pop it in, not your finger.
Oh, wow, that's
and
a
you'll
cool
know
little
it's
hack.
ready, yeah.
Okay, so the rind has gone in. I'm assuming, some more garlic going in there.
Gorgeous. Lemon juice, which I'm sure you can identify.
And then lastly, what is the spice?
That spice is cumin. You know, for Jenny, I would not be able to live without cumin. It is just, for me, the best ever.
And then how much yogurt goes into
Or you can make it as runny or as not so runny
however
as
you
you like.
want
But
it.
let's start off with half a cup.
Okay, so I'm going to just,
We'll just go dollop, dollop, doll. Dollop, dollop, dollop. Just look at that, Graham. Don't tell me your mouth is not going to love you when I start.
It comes out so beautifully, man.
And the important thing when frying, once again, something like this got a very high water content, so you don't want to overcrowd. So if you're using a big pot, I'm using canola oil here, incidentally, which is nice and healthy for you. If you're going to use a lot and a big pot, it must just dance. It must boogie across the floor. You know what I'm saying? It's not a midnight shuffle. It's not that uptight and close.
It's got to be free
It's
and it's got to
free,
do its
yes.
movement. Okay, I'm going to just blitz this quickly.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that, yes.
Wow.
Now add the salt and pepper. You need a bit of salt and pepper, sweetheart.
Beautiful.
Oh, look at these. I think we should make some of this for the crew as well.
Yeah, I think make double the
baby.
portion here.
Talking about the crew, what about the presenters? We are surrounded by, I don't know, it's not 50 Shades of Grey, but darling, there's so much grey going around here today. I'm wondering.
We'll call it 4 shades of
I'm
grey
getting
for you
4
this
shades of grey. Oh my goodness, that's not enough, sweetheart. I need much more than 4.
Oh man, this is going to feed the masses this morning. I absolutely love it. So I'm not going to.
Yum,
not going to overdo it.
No, don't overdo it. And then what you can do is just pour it into here. If you need more salt, you can always add it yourself. Some lovely rock salt maybe we can add over the top. And what's really nice is just to give this a beautiful drizzle of sweet chili sauce. Sometimes I make a wasabi mayo and I do the 2, but I'm going to steal one from here, because those are going to be very hot. My hands are clean, you know, I'm sanitized.
Yeah, we've done the deal.
I'm sanitized. And then
just look at that, how beautiful that is, man. Look at that.
Look at the sweet chili. Let me give you sweet chili sauce.
Okay, am I doing
like
both?
So, yes.
Oh.
And you can just, no double dipping, my boy. Just one time. One time dip. Look at this. It's easy, it's peasy. You can make these and drain them just before your guests arrive. And this is just great for the kids. You know, it's one way to get them without the chili, of course.
The texture
isn't it gorgeous?
Is amazing. It's not overly hot as well, so there's a bit of warmth there, but it's beautiful.
But it goes fast.
And I would imagine make extra because it's gonna go, and they are very Moorish. You can find this on expressoshow.com. These chili bite chippies are amazing.
Happy Jenny. Happy Graham.
Very happy.
You make my heart smile, doll.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for opening up with S3 this morning on your Tuesday. Of course, we are continuing with our health discussion this morning. Infectious diseases specialist Dr. Emil Reid is still with us and is ready to answer all of your burning questions on the coronavirus vaccine. Again, thank you so much to everyone who has sent through your questions and all the callers that is coming through this morning to get in on this topic.
Indeed, so 021-110-552. Thank you very much. And the good doctor is ready to answer your questions, and I'm glad that you're asking. You ask more questions, you get more answers, and you get credible information from sources, unlike social media, from a doctor like this. So we got our first caller. Lehai, welcome.
Hi there, how are you?
Feel free, the doctor's listening to you. What do you have to ask?
All right, doctor, I just wanted to ask a question. There hasn't been much discussion about the side effects, and I wanted to know if someone has got epilepsy and they have a vaccination, is that dangerous for them? Can that bring about seizure or anything like that?
And that's a fantastic question. Thank you very, very much for that. The answer to that is no. There's no interaction between your anti-epileptic medication and the vaccine, and also there's absolutely no current data to suggest that the vaccine can actually cause recurrence or an exacerbation of your epilepsy. So you don't have to worry about that.
All right, thank you very much, doctor.
Great, man.
Looks like we have another caller in. We have Ella from Cape Town. What is your question for the good doctor?
Hi, good morning, doctor.
Morning, Ella.
Family.
Good morning.
It's my Ola speaking. I would just like to know, I'm a person over 60, no comorbidities, and I would just like to know, why must I get the vaccine if it's all over social media that it does not prevent you from contracting the virus?
Okay. The most important thing is to remember that no vaccine is perfect. So no vaccine can protect you 100% from contracting COVID disease. And the most important thing of these vaccines that we have, especially with you being above the age of 60 years, is to remember that you are, number one, high risk, even though you don't have any comorbidities. And the important thing is, when it comes to vaccination, the main aim is to protect you from developing complicated COVID-19 or end up in a hospital being treated in high care or in intensive care unit. So what these vaccines do, you can still contract COVID-19 illness, you can still probably transmit it to your friends and family, but your virus load is extremely low. So the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. But the important thing is you will not become sick of COVID-19.
Thank you so much, Myla from Cape Town, for your question. I believe we have another caller, Charles, as well, on the line. What is your question for the doctor? Charles, are you with us? Morning, Charles.
Morning, how are you?
Good, and you? I believe you're calling all the way from Johannesburg. What is your question this morning?
I wanted to find out, is there any type of thing that they can give besides the vaccine, like a fruit or something that could give the body oxygen? My mother passed away of COVID, and she had 3% oxygen in her body. And, you know, there must be some sort of fruit or food that can actually add oxygen to the system to help along there. Is there something like that that the doctors have had a look at?
Charles?
I've heard and I've been reading about the pomegranates. The pomegranates can also help the system. I'm not too sure. I'm not a doctor, but it's just hearsay, you know?
Yeah. Charles, please accept our condolences with the passing of your mom. We're sorry that happened to you. With regards to your question, there's a whole host of fruit and food that can actually assist us with regards to boosting our immune system. Vitamin C, extremely important, so oranges, etc. The other important vitamin, vitamin D, which we have plenty of here in the Western Cape, being outside, being in the sun, etc. And vitamin D also play an important role with regards to your bones, your skin integrity, as well as prevention of tuberculosis. Then we have zinc, vitamin B, and all these other nutritional advances available. And unfortunately, there is none of the fruits or minerals or vitamins that can assist with boosting your oxygen level in your blood. So prevention is better than cure.
Thanks a lot, Charles, for your question, and a massive thank you to you, Dr. Emile Reid, for all of the information, the credible information, the stuff that you don't hear in social media. This is the stuff that you actually need to listen to right here. So no matter what, as long as you stay safe, stay as healthy as you can, keep your distance, wear your mask, sanitize, do the necessary, and ensure that you do listen to the credible source of information and don't spread fake news. That's exactly what I'm saying right now. When I say fake news, here's some credible news right here on S3. And our Tabiso, Uncle Tabzi, is standing by.
Full-on credible. Thank you very much, Carl Wasty. Just before 8 o'clock, time for us to take a final look at those news headlines. Starting off here in South Africa, where over the past year, the Cape Town Metro Council has approved 17,000 building plans worth 16 billion rand, despite COVID-19 restriction measures. An advisory panel, which has now been set up to bring about better collaboration between property developers and the local authority, has been set up. Mayor's spokeswoman, Lyndon Khan, says that the Harbour Arch development will create more than 13,000 jobs during its construction phase. And Khan says other interventions include possible alternative uses for downtown buildings and to expand the informal commercial sector in public areas to attract more people. And amid fears of the possibility of the country experiencing a third wave of COVID-19 infections, models show that there is a low risk, although the country remains vulnerable. This is according to a finding using an artificial intelligence-based algorithm designed by Wits University in partnership with the iTemba Labs and the provincial government of Gauteng and York University in Canada. Wits said that the AI-powered early detection system functions by predicting future daily confirmed cases based on historical data from South Africa's post-infection history. In international news, an international charity, Save the Children, says locust swarms, extreme weather and below-average rainfall mean millions of people in Somalia will not have enough food. The charity says crop and vegetable production is expected to drop some 80% this season, and income from livestock sales, a mainstay on Somali's economy, is projected to fall by up to 55%. Somalis are already facing multiple challenges, including a long-running Islamist insurgency, as well as a volatile political situation and more than 30 years without an effective central government. Staying with international news, the Iranian foreign minister has said that his country will take revenge for a cyber attack on an underground nuclear site for which it has blamed Israel. Iranian officials said that the Natanz uranium enrichment plant was the target of nuclear terrorism on Sunday after initially reporting a power failure. New advanced centrifuges to enrich uranium had just been activated there, and Israel hasn't responded, but public radio cited intelligence sources as saying it was an Israeli Secret Service cyber operation and that it had caused more extensive damage than Iran had reported. And next, news of the impact of a media queen's farewell news bulletin. A TV viewership report for March 2021 by the Broadcast Research Council has revealed that broadcast veteran Noxolo Grootboom's last news bulletin drew in a whopping 3.8 million viewers. Noxolo, who worked for the SABC for close to 4 decades, read her last news bulletin before going into retirement on Tuesday, March the 30th. Last month's report on the television audience measurement service stated that 3,832,686 people tuned in to hear Noxolo say "Ndinthanda nonke emakhaya" one last time. The impressive number constituted a third of all TV views during that time slot on the day. And while she hoped for a quiet exit, Noxolo Grootboom received the exact opposite of her wish. And Sis Noxolo became a household name over the years as a news presenter and made an art of presenting the news in her home language of isiXhosa. President Cyril Ramaphosa moved his national address, also known as the family meeting, which was originally scheduled for 7 p.m. to 7:30 on the night of Noxolo's final bulletin. bulletin to allow SABC viewers to watch the veteran presenter. Again, farewell to Mamnokolo Kredbom. That's where we leave it for this morning. On the news, here's a final look at what's happening in sports with Graham.
Thanks so much, Tabiso. And we start with the good news first. The Proteas have bounced back from their back-to-back ODI and T20 international losses against Pakistan to beat the visitors by 6 wickets in that second T20 match at the New Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg yesterday. Pakistan, who won the toss, elected to bat first, posting only 140 in their 20 overs. South Africa may able to reach that target in just 14 overs, with Aiden Markram starring with the bat, hitting 54 from just 30 deliveries. The third T20 will take place tomorrow, kick-starting at 2:30 in the afternoon. Then staying with cricket, a century by Rajasthan Royals captain Sanju Samson wasn't enough to lead his team to win over the Kings 11 Punjab in the brand new Indian Premier League season. The Kings, they registered a breathtaking last ball 4-run victory at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. They posted 221 for 6 thanks to a 91 from KL Rahul, 64 from Deepak Hooda and Chris Gale's 40 runs. Royals skipper Samson did smash 119 runs from just 63 deliveries, but his team falling short for that win. And then there'll be one IPL fixture to look out for today, that as the Kolkata Knight Riders take on defending champions the Mumbai Indians at 4 p.m.
Thanks a lot, Graham, and of course, lots of sporting action still to come here on S3, but I just wanted to jump in and ensure that your sunrise pictures are honoured, and thank you to each and every one of our viewers that take the time to share their sunrise views with us. And this morning, we are starting off with regular Louise G. Cheery, who shared the stunning image of the sun rising, and that's over the ocean in Amanzimtoti. Also, big thanks to Patricia Dunlop from Morningside, who shared the blue sky scattered with white clouds and notes of pink. Ralph Brunt from Uitenhage was showing off when he shared this gorgeous multicolored skyline with us. Ricardo Tierneson from Fabeworm in the Overberg also got creative with this image of the sun peeking over the hills in the distance. Thank you so much for sending that through, and if you want to be featured during one of our sunrise segments, all you have to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your photo with us. If your sunrise snaps are prize winners, you could win one of those oh-so-chic Nespresso travel mugs each week for 5 weeks. Do remember to post your pictures to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook page with the hashtag Nespresso Sunrise. Now, while we love seeing the way our local viewers start their day, we also have to take a moment to acknowledge our growing international audience on YouTube and the Africa channel. This morning, we send greetings to any viewers that may be watching from Providence, and that is the capital city of Rhode Island. It is also one of the oldest cities in the United States. Providence is one of the first cities in the country to industrialize and became noted for its textile manufacturing and subsequent machine tool, jewelry, and silverware industries. Providence experiences hot summers, cold winters, and high humidity year-round. Today, if you are in Providence, your day will start out cloudy. Conditions will be breezy with times of sun coming through and a cool maximum of 14 degrees Celsius. Now, tropical cyclone Seroja has ripped across 1,000 kilometers of stretch, and this is of Western Australia, leaving a trail of damage. Residents yesterday reported smashed houses, fallen trees, and downed power lines, and the Category 3 storm made landfall near the coastal town of Kalbarri, with wind gusts of up to 170 kilometers per hour. About 70% of structures in the town have been damaged, of which some 40% are almost destroyed. The cyclone, the first to hit the area since 1956, also left tens of thousands of people without power. Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced that the federal government's disaster response plan had been implemented, and state authorities have opened 3 evacuation centres for uprooted residents. Last month, areas of eastern Australia were evacuated as rivers and dams overflowed in the worst floods in decades, with almost 20,000 people displaced. So our thoughts do go out to that particular region. And let's go out to your region now with some temperatures, and starting off in Polokwane, 13 to 29 for you today. Bombela, 16 to 32. Pretoria, good morning to you. 29 is your maximum from a low of 16. Johannesburg, 14 to 28. Mahikeng, 12 to 30 is your temp today. Klerksdorp, a beautiful day, 31 degrees Celsius is your maximum from a low of 13. Kimberley, 14 to 32. Bloemfontein, 9, and that is rising to 30. Richards Bay, 21 to 31 degrees. Pietermaritzburg, your maximum is 31 today from a low of 15. Durban, 21 is the minimum this morning, and that rises gently to 28 degrees. Umtata 14 to 32. East London, you can expect 27 this afternoon. That is from a low of 20 this morning. Craddock, 35 the maximum. Please hydrate and sunscreen from your side. 12 this morning. Gqeberha, 18 to 25. George, 14 to 25 for you. Cape Town, 17, and that rises to 26 later. Worcester, a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. Varamixhe, Sutherland, 12 to 29. And Uppington, also 36 degrees Celsius as a maximum from a low of 18 degrees. Thank you so much for sending through those sunrise photos. Those are your temperatures and your weather wrap for the day. And remember the competition, if you want to win that Nespresso travel mug, make sure you comment on the competition post, and your sunrise pictures could be showcased right here on Expresso on S3.
Thank you so much, Carl. Now, we are back on the Expresso show. Of course, it's S3, and we're chilling with the female rapper and MC Assessor. She's the Queen of Kasi rap, and it's all about the ladies this time as she performs her song, Amantombazana. Let's take it away.
Hi. Hi, Abaya. Hi. Abanda. Abagwazi. Aslik. Hi, Abanda. Abaya. Abaya. Hi, Abaya. Uy, vile nanesasipachaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabongeni ayabafana vele thina siyasipachaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabongeni ayabafana lesi scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane uy lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane abokela basondele phambili amajita selamele esayidini lena yethi jalo nasejardini uyithola monke emangoneni uyithola nasephathini efuthi ngicela uzokuphuza ngicela uzojiva ngicela ungangithini ngicela kwenenzana nami ngicela ungangithizi bangonamophosha bozota bangangishiyi siyashisa siyababa nangomuntu ufuna ungibambe nangihlela amanamba uthi kimi sweet patata ungidlalisa soft ucanga ukuthi ngizolahla sekucinile ukuthi yangithanda nge-first day ufuna siyolala uthi mina ngitoya mina ngiphethe isaka lami sonke siphethe amakhadi ney'ntwana zami vele mina ngiyasiphathaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabogeni ayabafana vele thina siyasiphathaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabogeni ayabafana samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane Shana ngamana basphone ngenombolo asikhuze nasijayibe nakube mnandi asikhuze nasijayibe nakube mnandi vele thina siyasiphathaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabogeni ayabafana vele thina siyasiphathaza nabangani bami siyakhathaza ubumnandi siyabuthanda lene yabogeni ayabafana lesi scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane lesi scoop samantombazane
Kupsa Matomazana. Yeah, you got the whole studio in the vibe. Yeah. This is Coop, this is Coop, this is that. Yeah. Of course, the Queen of Kasi rap right here in the building. We've got one more performance coming at you live. Do not go anywhere. Wow! Kupsa Mat. Yeah.
Here's to you, Mzansi. Combine multiple loans into one with one affordable repayment. Get a Nedbank personal loan. Apply at nedbank.co.za/personal loans.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Expresso here on S3. Open up to some health chat. And this time around, we're shining the spotlight on Parkinson's, which is a progressive nervous system disorder that affects movement. A tremor is one of the most common symptoms of the disease. And here to shed some light on Parkinson's as we commemorate Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, the month of April, please welcome our trusted medical health specialist, Dr. Darren Green.
Good morning.
Darren Green, it's so good to have you
Always
here.
good to see you here.
You too, man.
Welcome back.
I've got to check up on you, make sure you're okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Vaccinated, presumably, because you're out on the front lines, so part of a very positive story there. But that's not what we're talking about this morning. We are focusing, as we should, because lest we forget, the rest of the world still moves on despite COVID-19.
Other medical conditions are still happening, correct.
And this is a difficult, and I say this is a difficult conversation to broach because it's something that personally terrifies me, and it's something that I would imagine is unbelievably difficult for a person to go through. Parkinson's disease, we've seen it obviously in the form of, Michael J. Fox has lived it
well-known figure.
very out loud and does a huge amount in terms of raising awareness. But for those of us that are uninitiated, what in fact is Parkinson's disease?
Well, you alluded to a term, neurodegenerative.
That's it.
And that means specifically in the brain, what happens in Parkinson's is that there are neurotransmitters, and we all know that one nerve speaks to another by means of an electric signal, which is facilitated by these chemicals in the brain. And dopamine is the one that we're speaking about here, the chemical. So the dopaminergic neurons or nerve cells in the brain, and specifically in an area of the brain called the substantia nigra, that's the area that's affected in Parkinson's disease, where the body manufactures or makes less dopamine, and those cells that manufacture the dopamine, they start degenerating and dying off. And that is what the disease entails, and that then has a manifestation on your motor system predominantly, in other words, your movement and motor system. And, we'll unpack it according to those developing symptoms and signs.
And I suppose that becomes one of the sort of onset symptoms that you might be able to identify it, by checking out. But it's a very terrifying one, right? One might ask then, what causes it? What causes
Do we know?
Parkinson's?
Yeah.
Do we even know? Can we?
Is it genetic?
So there's what we do know is the following. We know that your risk of developing Parkinson's disease increases with age. The average age of onset for people that do develop it is 60 years plus, and there's a prevalence of about 1% at the age of 60, and more than 4% at the age of 80. So age is a risk factor. Then we also know there are genetic links and components that have been established. For some of these genetic transmitted forms of Parkinson's, you need both parents to have that gene. For others, obviously, you only need one. That's what when we speak about autosomal, recessive, and dominant genes, etc. And lots of studying and research on that component. Then there's an association also with things like pesticides, people living in rural areas, because of obviously pesticides and the effect that they can have on the brain.
In the farm areas.
Correct. And then obviously things like head injury have also been implicated in terms of developing this degenerative condition.
So like many motor neuron diseases, it seems to have a similar kind of pathology, if you will. I suppose most people out there are asking one vital question is, how do you start to recognize the symptoms? Does it always exhibit with tremors? Are there other ways that it can start to reveal symptoms?
Yeah, my teacher and senior professor, Jonathan Carr, at Tygerberg Hospital, always taught us the anagram TRAP, T-R-A-P, trap. You feel trapped. And the T stands for tremor, which is a resting tremor. In other words, even while you're just chilling, not reaching out for anything, you can start with a tremor. It can start in one hand or in both hands normally. It can be any part of the body, but generally the hands and fingers first, at rest. So tremor, the R is rigidity or stiffness of the muscles. In other words, you experience a degree of stiffness that limits the speed of your movement, etc. as well. So that is rigidity and stiffness. The A is akinesia or bradykinesia, which means slow movement. So you've got a bit of a slower, robot-like movement almost, because of the stiffness of the muscles, but also because of those dopaminergic neurons that are busy dying off in certain areas. Yes, correct. And then the P is postural instability, where your balance is affected to a degree where if someone just bumps you, you fall over, for example. Your correcting reflexes to stay upright and maintain posture can be affected. And that's why TRAP is a good way. But there are other associated symptoms, like your facial expression can be diminished. They call it hypermimia, like a mime. Where you can't smile and express joy and
like
smile.
Botox.
Yes, exactly. You never thought of it like that. But because of the stiff muscles and slowed movement, it can even affect your facial muscles and oral muscles, and you could actually develop then side effects like Lewy body dementia in the brain, which is a form of dementia associated with Parkinson's as well.
Would these symptoms need to be consistent? Or the moment that it shows up, for example, tremors showing up one day and then going away, and then coming back again another time, or would they be consistent?
So the tremor, the most common tremor you'll find is an essential familial tremor, where people in your family have just the tremor component. And often you'll find that a history with the gran and so forth. But that's normally an intention tremor. In other words, it gets worse when you actually try and do a task or perform a task. The resting tremor is what we refer to almost as a pill rolling tremor, where your thumb and index finger looks like you're actually counting money or rolling a coin. And so forth. And that's quite interesting to actually watch the movement disorder there. So the movement disorders associated with the tremor is a highly specialized field, and there are a very small handful of neurologists in the country and in the world that obviously dedicate their lives to that.
Work in that space. Well, now that we have got every single one of you out there within your bodies feeling to see if you can pick up any of those symptoms, I think it really does highlight the importance of this Awareness Month. The doctor is not going anywhere. I suggest you stick around as well. We are continuing our discussion around a vitally important topic. We are talking about Parkinson's disease.
Thank you so much, Jen. Such valuable information. Now, we often assume that making better food choices means cutting out the things we love, but we're showing you how to take a classic dessert and turn it into a very delicious dip. Now, everything in moderation.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, get ready for another classic. Now, you know we're huge fans of no-bake desserts, and if you are too, then you'll love our Clover Classic Berry Cheesecake Dip. And does that not just sound delicious already? Now, it's one of those no-fuss, versatile treats to serve with anything of your choice. And Jenny Morris is here once again to show us how it's done. Jenny, I'm paying extra attention to this. Why? It's my mom's birthday today.
Happy birthday,
Yeah,
Ma.
she's in her 90s, and we're doing something on Sunday for her, so I'm going to make this. I think the family's going to love it. My mom has a sweet tooth as well, and if she is watching, happy birthday, Ma!
Happy birthday to you!
So no pressure?
No
but
pressure.
I want to impress her. Okay.
Listen, I think you already impressed your Ma, but I won't talk about half-naked chefs because Ma might be watching. Okay.
I've noticed now, this is the second time you push for this half-naked chef thing. I think you're definitely going to make this materialize, eh?
It's going to happen.
Careful what you wish for.
I'm wishing.
So what are we doing right now?
So we have some blueberries, which I'd like to talk about with you, and some caster sugar, not too much sugar. You can see here, this is only a tablespoon of sugar, which is amazing. I'm going to get that to start bubbling, then I'm going to give it a squish of lemon juice. But what I want you to look at, and everybody out there, if you look at this berry, before it gets to the heat, do you see it's a different...
Yes,
it's a different color. So we're
greenish, sort of a white opaque color. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is such a healthy snack. And if you look at it, a blueberry is like the king of antioxidants in food.
So true.
And they are so low in calories, but they're highly nutritious. What I love about them, 1 cup is about 84 calories.
And it's so nutritionally dense with all those vitamins and minerals coming through from that alone.
Vitamin K,
and like you mentioned,
C.
oxidant rich. So
Absolutely.
we're using superfoods right here from Mother Nature themselves. And of course, the fact that you're saying to me that this has got a little bit of a health spin, I can see the factor coming in when we're using things like fruits and natural sugars.
Absolutely.
Which is a great lift to give us the energy we need to perform.
Absolutely. Now, what we see, normally sugar, you would need to make things very, very sort of fluid and syrupy. But because this has got lots of pectin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pectin. So it's lovely when you're doing jam making. You often see them say, put in some lemon seeds or citrus seeds. That is going to bring this together. I'm going to stand back, but you know that I am clean, hey?
Of course.
I'm always sanitized. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to get you to do that, and then I'll bring you to the pot. I need two of those beautiful Clover Classic.
Okay, and
the
does it matter
blueberry.
if I use any flavors? Because we've got like black currant, we've got raspberry and
everything.
cream, we've got blueberry. So
No,
can I go wild with this?
Go wild, darling.
Right.
Anything goes. But let's do the top two. I chose those ones for you.
I like this. So we're using blueberry and cream, low-fat dairy yogurt variant.
Look at that. Look at that colour.
Just making a pop.
All purple food is healthy food.
This is crazy, and I'm not even going to tell you a word of a lie, but it's my mom's favorite color too. She absolutely loves purple, so we're always giving her gifts of amethysts or anything along those lines. So
can I be your mom?
Up until after today, you can be my mom.
I'll be your mama.
But today's a special one for her. So I'm also adding in some blackberry and cream
Gorgeous.
as well. Love that too. So we've got a nice purple and pink variety.
And then some vanilla. Just so we have that little undertone, a little bit of depth in there.
Can you make a cake without having vanilla essence? It's like,
don't you like it?
No, I love it. It's like the hero ingredient. It makes a cake a cake. It makes a dessert a dessert.
Absolutely.
And it makes the bad times good.
Absolutely. So the only time you can leave it out is if you are allergic.
I like that. I like that. All right. So,
And
Jenny,
just a
I'm
bit of
almost done here. Am I
icing
whisking this
sugar.
away? Icing sugar.
Yeah, just give it a good old mix together because you want it to be beautiful and creamy. I have made one up front. If you just could see into this pot, you would be absolutely. Look at this.
Oh,
just
that
look
is
at this.
delicious.
This is
I think the cameras can actually get an aerial view of that. They're just looking down on it. Is that reducing right now? What's actually happening?
It's reducing and it's thickening nicely. In fact, I don't want too much of a reduction because it'll be jammy, which is fine.
But that's really cool. I mean, like just that alone is a perfect jam. You could probably bottle that.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's a perfect jam. Yes, of course.
Oh,
you could.
okay.
But the beauty of this is I want this to just like ooze all over, but I have made one up front as one does.
All right.
So you keep whisking. I'm looking at...
ahead of the curve, of course. And I just thought of another great idea. Ooh, never mind that idea, because this is an even better one. Is this the final product?
You can only have one.
Only one?
Choose
Can I have one plate?
One plate? Oh, you're such a greedy boy. I'm going to give you one beetroot chip. You can eat this with anything. Take that, sweetheart.
Thank you very much.
But the beetroot chip is wonderful because, once again, it's very nutritious and it's not deep fried. You know,
using veg as like a chip, like, come on.
I love it.
What a crazy
I love it.
All
But you
right,
could
so-
even take like those boudoir biscuits, those finger biscuits, those little Frenchy things, and you can dip it into that. There's so much. But during COVID, I would give everybody their own little dish with whatever's going to go with it, so they can scoop. So you went that side, I'm going this side.
Socially distancing our dip, I like that. Well, let me see if the proof is in the pudding, and this is worthy of Ma's birthday, which we are celebrating, and on Sunday, hopefully we'll be making this, so...
Oh my goodness, and it's got the saltiness from the chip. Can you hear that crunch, people?
Crunch? Perfection. The salt coming from the chip is balanced so perfectly from the sweetness of the berry. You've got all that good stuff, loving the creaminess coming from the yogurt. I think I just need to put a candle in this. This is going to be a birthday cake on top of it.
I'm sure if you put a bit of plastic wrap on that, it would last till Sunday.
I might take this just in case my one doesn't come out. But of course, guys, you can get this recipe at expressoshow.com. Thank you so much, Jerry Morris. More happy birthday, and to the rest of you all in Mzansi. This is something you're definitely going to want to make, because your guests are going to be absolutely impressed. I'm grabbing another one.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Continuing with our health discussion on Parkinson's disease with multimedia health specialist Dr. Darren Green. He is still with us, and we are going to be getting into some of the medical conditions that are associated with Parkinson's, and hopefully offer a few tips on how family and friends can better cope, because I think that's a massive part of this. But there is maybe the most important question relating to Parkinson's disease in terms of what's driving the research at the moment and the awareness. Is there a cure? How do we cope with it? How do we treat it?
Yeah, so at the moment, there isn't a cure to reverse Parkinson's disease. Let's start off there. At the moment, there are interventions to help manage the degenerative condition and give you a decent quality of life with all these effects that you're having on your motor system, your movement, your degree of dependence, and so forth. We've mentioned the tremor, the rigidity, the slow movement, and the stiffness, etc. But when we look at all that, you must must remember that the problem essentially is too little dopamine, the neurotransmitter. So you can take that synthetically, and certain forms of Parkinson's disease are dopamine responsive. In other words, they respond well
balance that out
to taking synthetic dopamine. Now, you need dopamine that can actually get into the brain. So there's different types that you get in formulations that can cross the blood-brain barrier, get into the brain, and the brain can utilize that to help, optimize the amount of neurons you have left and using them as best you possibly can. So that's one thing. The big challenge with the medication in synthetic dopamine is that it has side effects on other systems in the body. So you must use as little as possible and as late as possible in the condition. In other words, when you really need it, because you've got a certain amount of years that you can actually utilize that medication, and the window gets smaller and smaller and smaller due to tolerance and due to, obviously, as I've mentioned, the side effect profile on others. And the side effects can be quite significant in other systems. So there are quite a few medical treatment options. Pharma, there's a few other things you can do as well.
Well, that's a chat on cure and the fact that we've established now that there isn't a cure necessarily, but a management system, as it were. We always go on about prevention is better than cure, but is there a way to prevent getting Parkinson's disease?
So looking interesting, there was some literature on caffeine and coffee being protective against Parkinson's.
Protective? Okay, well, that is good news.
So for those of you that like doing some good evidence-based research, that's a lovely weekend reading, obviously as well. But as I mentioned, obviously exposure to things like pesticides, unfortunately you can't change your family, your family,
your genes are your
but
genes.
But the intervention and the literature looking at which genes are involved, firstly, but also the pattern of inheritance, mean that if you have a certain pattern in your family, you might be able to find out in advance, obviously, and plan accordingly. So that's also important. And then I didn't mention the electric part of treating Parkinson's, which is deep brain
the brain
stimulation.
Is electric, the brain is
where certain electrodes are implanted at a certain site in the brain to facilitate, obviously, the conduction and the motor signals in these dopaminergic pathways. And that then helps as well for a significant amount of people. So, but variable results, not everyone responds favorably to that, but it has certainly been useful in certain populations, and obviously there's a cost implication as well.
I would imagine the discussion becomes really interesting when we start talking about associated conditions. What is often accompanied with this? How can you kind of put it in its broader family tree,
100%.
if you will?
So if we speak about conditions that have too little dopamine in the brain, we speak about idiopathic Parkinson's disease, which is what I've described to you thus far. Then you have another interesting group, which is called the Parkinson's plus syndromes. In other words, they have Parkinson's disease plus other medical
triggering
problems.
something else.
And one of them is called MSA, or multiple system atrophy, and there are two main subtypes, A and C. The A is for autonomic dysfunction, where your fight or flight system, the sympathetic, parasympathetic system, the autonomic features and nervous system is affected by that condition. So low blood pressure, problems with voiding, problems with your bowel control, that kind of thing can happen. And then the other form of multiple system atrophy involves the cerebellum. That term we all loved saying at school. And that controls your coordination and your walking, etc. And then there's one other one called PSP, which is progressive supranuclear palsy, where your eyes and your upward gaze is impaired and you develop rigidity and stiffness in the neck with an off-the-pillow sign where your neck protrudes forward with stiff muscles in the neck, etc. And your eyes also can't move like they should move. So those are really tough because there aren't reversible cures for those conditions. And it makes
to live with
really
that and manage that.
Correct.
And the people who often have to deal with and manage that are often, I suppose, if someone's a sufferer of Parkinson's disease, your family, your loved ones, your friends.
100%.
What are the tips that you can share on how we can be supportive and really cope with Parkinson's disease, number one, if you are a sufferer, but also if you are a loved one?
I think the first thing is you can't do it alone. You need to plug into a network where you are speaking to other people going through the same thing, and a support group is very useful. To realize it's okay to be frustrated, exhausted, tired sometimes from preventing burnout of the carer, for example. That's the first thing. The second thing that you need to do as a family member, obviously, is try and share the load if you can. But it's not always that easy. When you're living in a metropole, in a city, a big city, you've got access to a lot more than you do if you're living in a rural area. And that's part of the infrastructure challenges that we have here in South Africa as well, is bringing and educating people in those committees, in those communities. Socio-economic thing. So there's a lot we can do in that sense. So that's the first thing. Early diagnosis, compliance with medication, recognizing the side effects and those systemic side effects that I mentioned to taking medication are also important. Things like constipation, for example, things like nightmares and screaming in your sleep. Those are things and hallucinations that can be managed by the treating specialist if they are aware of the symptoms.
Of what's going on. You are not alone. I think the overriding message here during Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, we're going to take some of your calls and your comments and questions on social media. You can give us a shout, 021 110 552 if you have any questions to ask the good doctor. He is sticking around.
You can talk to me all day like this.
To come in the next couple of moments, but before we get there, move the coffee table. It's the moment we've all been waiting for on Expresso this morning, and we have this incredible queen of Kasi right over here when it comes to rap music, award-winning hip-hop artist Expresso. She's back once again to perform for you. Her official debut single is out now. This is Quantum, right here in S3.
Quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Lana imali ningi. Lana senge quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Lana imali ningi. Yeah, hepatitis quantum, 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 quantum. Aish, aye me karakara. Boba, ikwele quantum. That's a quantum, 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 quantum. Uy, ay, me cara cara. Ikwele quantum. Yeah, sure. Bazofaki iwalat, linding you can get soy papela na kuwalat yamas bugi salas led. Ama ice na maside and the cooler box is going. Figure na gang amas una mamenemen. Se babo ke pelepen, lipilogi belesen. Imali pezuli kumishalo ke selese. Tina tenga pelu cash, yega uspelele ngithi kusasa skippi babalaza ngale nyuke set. Dala drinka manje khuluma iphepha, ngiyablenda, ngiyautako getting ayibheja, assessa, hlangana amajita mangilenda, ngiyapressa, ngoba jimile ngiyapressa. Quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Awu lana imali ningi. Uy, lana senge quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Awu lana imali ningi. Yeah, hepatitis quantum, 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 quantum. Ayi me karakara. Baba, ikwele quantum. Uy, ribatata quantum, 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 quantum. Ayi me karakara. Baba, ikwele quantum. Ongana mali hlala ekhaya uphuza amanzi kunini bangibhelela nama-gents nawo ngifuna phansi spini quantum uhlala abantwana vele kuhlanga inkasi ngihamba namangani mami kajoe bathi kunephani bangibiza uboss pop champagne from enameni to eClipfontein ngisho naseClipfontein bangithiba xa ufela likoblomfontein phezu kwemoto bajayiva kanjani siphume ngamawino kumnandi kanjani Monganamali uzongena kanjani ngeke silale endlini ngoba thina siyathanda quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Awu lana imali ningi. Uy, lana senge quantum, stugu pam pam, sazothatha boja. Aish, phela lana imali ningi sibale. Awu lana imali ningi. Uy, hepatitis quantum, 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 quantum. Uy, ayi me karakara. Baba, ikwele quantum. Uy, ribatata quantum, 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 quantum. Ayi me karakara. Ikwele quantum.
Hey! Yes! Tanisa, phuza namhlanje mfowethu. Yo, my word. Asesa, you were amazing. You were amazing, absolutely incredible. Check this out and go grab a single and support vocals from the locals. Asesa Quantum out now. Yes, Quantum. Hey, Quantum.
Do we have social media questions? Just to preempt. Okay. Wendy from Durban. Cool.
Okay, cool.
So we got callers.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. We're continuing a very, very interesting and very insightful conversation with multimedia health specialist Dr. Darren Green, who's here, standing by to answer all of your burning questions on Parkinson's disease as we continue to observe that Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month this April is taking place. Now, thank you once again to every single one of you who've sent through your questions, but I believe we do have a caller on the line all the way out in Durban. We've got Wendy. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Wendy. Thanks for weighing in. What is your question for the doc?
I would like to know what foods or supplements would be the best for increasing one's levels of dopamine, since the lack of that is the thing that causes the Parkinson's.
Very good question.
Great question. So remembering that dopamine is actually the neurotransmitter in the brain that is involved with the reward pathway. So movement, as I've mentioned, but also reward. So you naturally do so much in your day-to-day living that can actually help stimulate dopamine release. One of them are just surrounding yourself with positive people that aren't negative and giving you critique all the time and bad criticism. In other words, positive feedback mechanisms. In other words, doing an activity and finding things that give you small wins. Those are natural ways of increasing your dopamine. Remember, though, that the problem in this case is that the actual cells that are involved in the dopamine pathway are actually degenerating. And regenerating those cells to form new cells is where the research is going and what we actually want to do with future therapy. So at the moment, I can say surround yourself with positive people. Obviously, in terms of diet and nutrients, eating a good, healthy, balanced diet in terms of macro and micronutrients will facilitate you not getting other conditions, medical conditions, like high blood pressure, blood vessel conditions that like atherosclerosis, that precipitate strokes and other medical conditions that will accelerate, obviously, the loss of function in Parkinson's disease.
So you want to be making sure that you're doing as much as you can, Wendy, that's going to give you joy and keep you in that positive space. Thank you very much, and hopefully that answers your question, Wendy, out in Durban. And we're still staying in Durban. We've got another caller in Durban. It's Sean. Sean, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, morning, sir, for having me on the show.
Thanks, man. Sean. What's your question, Sean?
Yeah, basically it's with regards to my 12-year-old daughter. It's only when she goes to bed she's like having a seizure. And we've been to the pediatrician, we've been to so many GPs. They put her on a medication called Epilim. And now it's going like 14 days, but it's only at night that she's getting involuntary movements on her hands, legs. There's spit that leaks out her mouth. And then she goes into like a deep sleep kind of thing, and we have to get her up. We feel like something's going to happen to her.
It sounds terrifying, to say the least.
As a parent.
So, yeah, certainly from a parent's perspective.
Yeah, so seizures and epilepsy are obviously unrelated to this conversation on Parkinson's. However, there are specific epilepsy syndromes associated in childhood up to the age of 12. I think he mentioned his daughter is the age.
14.
Yeah. So if it's older than the age of 12, certainly one would want to have a look at what they call continuous monitoring, where they actually admit you to the hospital for a week, especially if the seizures are recurrent, and then what they do is they look at which part of the brain the seizure originates from. And then with the imaging, we can correlate, obviously, what the cause is, if there's anything structural to worry about or not, and then obviously refer and treat accordingly. She's on a medication, an anticonvulsant medication called Epilim, that she's mentioned, and obviously compliance is good, but I think keeping a diary of those, the nighttime nocturnal seizures is also a type of seizure that you get, but normally at the age of 12 that can obviously dissipate, but in terms of childhood. But if she's 14, certainly worth a follow-up and worth long-term monitoring.
All right, so get into a doctor's room as soon as you can, I think. Some enlightening and again rather scary facts being raised today. Thank you so much for taking us through that conversation. It is a very, very difficult time for any family to deal with, any person to have to go through this. So I think the most important take home here is that we need to stand together as a community looking for answers.
And of course, you know, every Tuesday we bring you Pharmacy of the Week, which is a short feature acknowledging the incredible people working on the front line. And I think now is such an important time to highlight those people.
Definitely, Jamie. Now, this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers, and proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. This week's Pharmacy of the Week is Medley Pharmacy in Boksburg. So let's go take a look and see.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
Lee and I, together with our team of highly skilled professionals, are always here to give you the best medical advice.
We've tried our best to keep our staff as well as ourselves safe during this pandemic, and it's very hard to go home to your family and think that you may actually be putting them in danger. So we hope we've done our best to keep everyone safe.
I really respect the frontline workers, especially the pharmacists, during this time. They're placing their lives on the line and looking after our safety.
We are here for them to make them feel important and feel wanted.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
You know, you always think that these superheroes are going to be wearing a cape, but there they are.
Absolutely. Thank you for your incredible work and also the role that you play in our lives. Again, highlighting Pharmacy of the Week.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's our Tuesday karaoke. We love it. We embrace it. We apologize in advance, and we're going to have a bit of fun. We have had, again, a range of impossibly difficult songs to sing, so
Yes,
thank you so much for that.
Difficult.
Rashida Dolly sent through one, though, that really did pique our interest.
Oh, yeah? What is that?
It's a classic by the legend that is Dionne Warwick. It is That's What Friends Are For.
That is a proper classic. That's an iconic jam, that.
That is, man.
Nice.
I'm looking at the words, and I don't remember those words ever being in the song, so this is going to be a challenge.
Are you also a chorus guy like me, G?
Yeah, man.
Right, then this is our
Guys,
challenge.
last week, I kind of felt like I was the only one singing.
I don't know, please.
It's a bit of a dig.
Show some respect. I'm sorry. You did a lot of hand gestures and movements, yes, but sing.
I just remember, and it's not a nice voice to remember, but that's all I remember was just the sound of my own horrid voice. So today we're going to go all out.
Okay, let's go.
All
let's
out.
go in.
All out.
Let's go,
boys.
boys.
All right,
Shake 'em
guys.
Let's get it going.
Mr. DJ, if you will. Yes, it's going on.
And I never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you.
Hey, nice.
And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. Oh, if you remember, keep smiling and keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, for sure. And that's what friends are for. The good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore.
Yeah.
Bring it down, well, you came in love with me, and now there's so much more I see. And so, by the way, I thank you.
Both of you.
And for the good times we were apart.
Those were never good.
Well, then close your eyes and know the words are coming from my heart. And then you can remember. Keep smiling, keep shining. You can always count on me. For sure. Yeah. That's what friends are for. In good times and what times. And know that I'll be on your side forevermore. I said that's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure. And that's what friends are for. Good times, bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. Do you know why? Because that's what friends are for. And that's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. Oh, for sure. 'Cause I tell you that's what friends are for. For good times and the bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Oh yeah, that is how you do a Dion Warren song.
Too easy.
Immortalized.
Wow,
That was too easy.
gut wrenching.
For sure.
For sure.
That's
what friends are for.
Are you going to do that one more time?
No.
For sure.
Not today, not today. My ab workout is just.
Goodness gracious.
The best part for me.
For sure.
Absolutely not.
You know it's for sure, not for sure. Yeah.
Now it makes a lot more sense.
Can I go lie down? I'm
Don't take a
I'm
moment.
sorry, guys.
Just go.
Wow.
Take
Let
a
us
moment.
deal with this.
Please,
Yeah, I was actually impressed. There were some notes that I think we hit, yeah?
took it
Yeah?
right up
What do you
there.
guys
We took it right up there. There is nothing beyond our range. We have proven that now. So please go into social media and tell us what you thought of that performance. And suggest a song for us to sing next week. And you can make it an impossibly difficult song to sing, and we'll do it.
Because you've done it every week, so
Yeah,
let's keep
so
that
far,
trend.
so good. We will apply ourselves to it with the same sense of vigor. We love it. We love you for that, Rashida. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that we did that to you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
you guys did amazing.
that is how you make a performance.
Please come back tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Coloring Hotline Blink coming up and no singing.
Smile.
Smile.
Love each other. We love you.
Aibo.
We love you.
Here's to one last slice of summer and our first taste of autumn. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.